All right, so we're good. All right, so mindset. I believe before we start receiving this information, I think we need to prepare our mindset accordingly. So in order for me to prepare the mindset accordingly, I want to go ahead and just share my screen concerning some of the things I actually did prior to starting the business. So let me go see if I can share. Which screen should I share? This one. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen, right? Yes, no, maybe so. Good. All right, so this is the screen. Mind you, everything I did in this business, I documented it as I went because I knew at the end people were going to ask me how I did it. So instead of giving a fluff answer like most people do when they do something worthy of praise, they give a fluff answer like you should just work hard, you should just grind hard. Not to fault these people. The reason why they defaulted to answer that question in that manner is because they didn't document the process. So they themselves don't know how they did it outside of the fact that they know that they worked hard. Right. So one thing I really want to put a strong point and emphasis on is no matter what you do in life, in business, please document it from the beginning. And you see the power of documentation from the my clothing line. All those pictures that I posted was back literally 9 years ago. Can you believe that? 2011 was 9 years ago. That's crazy, right? All right. So I created this template. It's called the Business in a Box template. So everything on my brain, I posted it here on this template. So it can be very overwhelming for those who look at this template and they just start clicking on a bunch of stuff, right? I believe you just need to focus on one place at a time. And typically it's the preparation stage, right? But prior to me going to the preparation stage, I want to go over why I actually built this business in the rental industry. All right. So if you were to ask most people why they built their businesses, most people wouldn't give you an answer that they actually thought about. Meaning a lot of people are starting business with no real intentions outside of just making money. So let me go ahead and go over some of the reasons why we should build a business. All right. So this is me personally. Whether you have these in a different sequence or different order, it's up to your personal life and how you want to operate. But this is how I did it. All right. So the very first one for me on why I built my business as a man of faith, my number one reason, was to be able to offer funds / resources towards God's administration. All right. So I'm a part of a church, and me being a part of this church, there's certain things that need to be offered in order for us to accomplish a certain type of mission, right? So I wanted to be able to offer a vehicle, a van, right? A Mercedes Sprinter van for members so we can go out to these short-term missions to North Carolina, Alabama, South Florida, wherever the case may be, right? Instead of us always having to rent a van, right? In order to do this, I had a couple options. I use my own funds, right? Or I create a business that can help facilitate this, right? Most people, when you think about a vehicle, you think of it being a liability. But in most cases, it actually is. I didn't want the vehicle to be another bill. I didn't want it to just be a liability. I wanted it to be an asset, right? But before I even thought about the business aspect of it, I really wanted to know why I even wanted to do it in the first place. I wanted to do it in the first place because I wanted to help towards God's administration, God's organization, God's business. I believe if you believe in any type of deity and you have a pledge of allegiance to that deity, I believe that if that God is your business partner, you're not going to lose. When you think of it like that, right? If God's your angel investor and you're doing it with the right purpose and with noble purposes, your business is not going to fail. And I think that's the most fundamental piece on why I build any business, because I'm doing it to honor God. Think about that. When you build a business to honor somebody else other than you, it's a whole different ballgame on how you move, make moves, and operate. You need to be doing things for a higher purpose than you. All right. Second reason, I built my businesses because I want to actually develop new skills and character and personal growth, right? A lot of people who lack in patience, humility, communications, organization, right? Accounting, finance. There's certain things that we all lack in, right? I started this business so I can actually fix those things, right? A lot of people don't ever embark a new endeavor with that mindset that I want to start a position in customer support because I suck in customer support, right? What is the typical reason why people start a business? We already know it's because of the funds, the money. That's usually the number one reason. But think about that reason compared to these first two, right? Like I mentioned, funding resources towards God administration and developing new skills, character, and personal growth, right? When you're focusing on your personal growth, the income is going to come. Everybody knows that, but I don't think people believe it because they never tried it. So what I'm asking everybody to do is just trust me in this process. Just try it. Try going to your job with the mindset of, I'm coming to this job, I'm going to do this business so I can develop certain areas in my life that I'm lacking in. And I'm going to do it with happiness and joy. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to evaluate myself and see if I actually hit that goal. All right. So a third reason why people start their businesses, of course, is to earn extra cash flow to pay bills and family necessities. That's a given. Fourth reason, to have ownership in something. That's a really good reason to have a business because you want to have ownership in something that can be passed down to your family. Again, it's bigger than you. You're not just having a business just to have a business for yourself. You're having a business so you can have ownership and the ability through that ownership to pass it down to a family member. That's a really, really noble reason to start a business. All right, so we got another reason. To let your money grow and not let your money sit and do nothing. A lot of people don't understand how money operates. It's called cash flow because it has to move. Cash has to flow. And a lot of people don't even realize, actually, if your money's sitting there doing nothing, you're actually losing money. Not just on opportunity cost, but literally losing money in value due to inflation. Every year, from 1% to 4%, the value of the dollar depreciates. Right? This is the reason why chips doesn't cost the same amount as it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. That 25-cent bag of chips is now what? $1. What happened there? It was actually called inflation. All right. So people cannot, so people can overcome inflation. What people do is, I don't want my money to sit. I'm gonna start my business so I can have my money start working, so it can go to work for me. All right. Then we have another reason, to create more time to do non-business related activities. Think about that statement. I'm starting my business so I can stop doing business. And when's the last time you actually said that? Like really, because everybody invested what, $150 for this information. But I don't want that investment to be in vain because you're not doing it for the right reasons. All right. I didn't want you to sign up because, oh, Matthew's killing the game, and I trust him and I just want to do the same thing. That's cool and all, but we want to add a little bit more substance to your purpose. All right. So these are some of the things that you can look at to say, okay, even though I didn't think about this consciously, this might have been in my subconscious mind, but this is a good reason why I want to do this. All right. Create more time to do non-business related activities. F, to create independence, flexibility, and be free to decide when you work. How does that sound? Usually when people say financial freedom, this is what they're talking about, right? They're talking about the opportunity to be able to be flexible with their time. If I feel like not going to work today, I have that option. It shouldn't be a frequent option, but you do have the flexibility to, what we can say, choose, right? Most times, if you work in a job that you don't have ownership over, that choice is seldom, and it usually has negative consequences if you choose an option that doesn't benefit the company, right? So we have flexibility to be free to decide when you work, how you work, and what you work on, right? Like I mentioned before, this can be a good or bad thing. It actually was a struggle for me being an entrepreneur. I don't even call myself an entrepreneur. I was a solopreneur, which was horrible, right? It means I was building my businesses with no accountability, no structure. I worked whenever I wanted, but me working whenever I wanted didn't create the most efficiency. right? When we went to school, a lot of things were efficient because things were set in time, right? 60-minute increments. We had time for a break. We had time for recess. We had time. Things were structured, right? A lot of people who are in the internet age, they're out in the wild by themselves. Yes, it's easier to get a little bit successful with the different opportunities that exist, but we still want that structure that we learned in traditional schools. That's my opinion. Another reason why to start a business is to be able to pay for whatever you want, whenever you want. I don't like making decisions based on whether I have the income to do so or not. All right. That's a good feeling to have. All right. So that's another reason why people start businesses, so they don't have to run into that issue. If I want to start this, money's not going to be the issue on why it's not being started. And we have H. People can build their business to use as leverage to build another business. Right. So my Airbnb business specifically is actually used as leverage. I have no emotional attachment to this business. I didn't say that this is my passion. I'm actually using this business intentionally as leverage for my marketing, right? My marketing deals. When I tell people that I own or operate or manage 8 condos in the greater Atlanta area, meaning if you fly into Atlanta to have a meeting with me, don't worry about having a spot. I got a spot for you. That's a completely different conversation, right? When you're doing big deals. So I'm using this business as leverage. Same thing with the vehicles, right? A lot of times when I try to do marketing deals and lock these deals down, a lot of the jargon I use doesn't really relate to certain people. They don't understand it. All they care about is the end result. But as I'm trying to explain how that process works, it goes in one ear out the other. But what they do understand is I got a Lambo or Ferrari business, and I got a bunch of cars that I rent out. Those things can be used as leverage, or in other words, what I call an alley-oop. When I started my car rental business and condo business, people treated me completely different when it came to the meetings that I had concerning business management, business development, completely different. Then we have I, to feed interest in creating something new and enjoy the process of building. This is definitely for me. I love the process of building businesses, right? It's not so much the end result, it's more so I love the process of building the business. Some people have that same passion. That's another reason why you can start a business. We have another reason, K, to have the opportunity to create jobs for others. Like my whole life, I created a system where I'm able to do the job by myself from a computer. But a lot of times when I'm driving out in the public, I always get the question, hey, Matt, do you have any opportunities for me? Do you have a job for me? And every time I always had to answer no, because I didn't need anybody to be able to help me do the things I needed to do. It was already automated. It's already taken care of, right? So I always had a desire to create a business platform where I can actually hire other people. And Airbnb allowed me to do so. The cars and Turo allowed me to do so. That's another reason why you want to start a business. Then we have L, to create awareness to something or someone. Some people don't care about the money. They don't care about the process. They don't care about anything. They just want to create awareness for something that people don't know about, right? A lot of times nonprofits are fall into this category, right? They want to bring awareness to a certain sickness or funding, mission, and that's the reason why they're doing it. We have M. I'm starting a business because I want to experience a different type of lifestyle. You're tired and sick and tired of the lifestyle that you're currently experiencing, but through this business, you can live a different lifestyle, change things up a little bit. All right. So those are some of the reasons. Then we have the last reason that most people have, just because. Next time you have an opportunity, ask a business owner this question: why did you start your business? Even though they're not going to say the words just because, it's going to still sound like just because. And the reason why is just because is they never ever thought about the answer to this question. They never thought about it. Think about it. You not knowing why you're doing something is basically you wandering aimlessly, right, in a parking lot for no reason. It doesn't make any sense, right? So we don't want to fall into this category down here, just because. And this one right here is a super impactful one. moral obligation. I started this business because I have a moral obligation to do it. Now, how powerful that sounds? If somebody asks you, hey, why did you start this business? I had a moral obligation. Their ears are now open to hear why you believe you have a moral obligation. And now this is the opportunity to share your passion on what you want to do and what you want to accomplish through your business. So those are some reasons, right? I have this, again, this is a free guide that anybody can access at any time. Before you start any business, I encourage you to actually look at these different options and find out why are you starting these different businesses, all right? Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's go back to the preparation stage. Again, I know we're talking about Airbnb, but I guarantee you can follow everything I did in how I built these Airbnb condos and generated all this income. You can do it to a T, but if you don't do any of these preparation stages that I actually did throughout my life, I guarantee you're not going to get even close to the same results. And then you're going to be really confused. All right? So there's certain things that we need to do to prepare ourselves for the success of the basic steps. All right. So I have a stage called the preparation stage. Just when you're building a house, there's certain things that you have to prepare before you start building a house. All right. So same thing for your business. So the preparation level is where I believe you should work together with somebody to start attracting love and appreciation. I'm going to ask somebody a question, and this is going to be a social experiment to see how our mindset kind of works. So if anybody wants to answer this question, please do. So the question is, what do you want in life? It sounds like real general, but I want you to answer anybody. As a matter of fact, who wants to volunteer to answer this question? What do you want in life? Or, matter of fact, I'll make it even easier. What do most people want in life? Francis, Ramon, Erica, George, anybody can answer this question. Okay, so we got, Michael said freedom. Okay. What else we have? Happiness. Okay, so peace of mind, happiness, freedom. But the question is, why? Why do you want freedom, happiness, joy, peace? Why? What is that going to do for you? We're getting some of the same answers. Happiness. How many people think that happiness, peace, and joy are external things? Okay, so we agree that these things are actually internal. So if they're internal, what's stopping people from having it? Self. And more importantly, mindset. Beliefs, exactly. Or, yeah, I like what you said, George. You don't know what it looks like, right? Right? So this is my point. A lot of people want something, but don't realize that that's not really the core. And secondly, they don't know how to tap into something that already exists inside. Yeah, externally ain't gonna work. So the question I asked was really a spiritual question. You have to look inside to figure out how you can be happy. There's no matter amount of money, no matter friends, no matter amount of anything external is going to change somebody's happiness unless you understand how to be happy by yourself internally, which is what I want to talk about here, which is basically self-love, self-development. All right. So in order for you to build your business properly in this Airbnb space, you have to be developed personally first. I guarantee you, if your personal life isn't developed, if you're not happy already with your life, it's not going to work out. You're just wasting your time. Because I'm telling you right now, especially in Airbnb space, it's a hospitality space, meaning you need to exude hospitality, happiness, love, appreciation, joy, all these things that people want to receive, right, for themselves. What do you think other people want to receive? They want to receive those same things as well. But if you don't have it, how can you help your customers have it? We're working backwards. We're hustling backwards if we don't fix ourselves first. Make sense? So here's some ways that I've used to help develop myself personally. All right. First, I need to attract love and appreciation. When it comes to two things that I guarantee every single person on this earth wants, is they want love and appreciation. No matter what. People say, well, I'm building my business so I can feed my family. Why? Because they need to eat. No, it's because you want love and appreciation. Everything you can think of goes back to the fact that you want love and appreciation. Very important. All right. So with that being said, in this section, we need to figure out how to attract love and appreciation. 2, how to get inspired, right? Before we start anything, before any education is given, we have to be inspired first. Then once we're inspired, we have to start creating momentum. A lot of times, I don't think anybody in this room is incompetent of doing anything. I think if somebody gave you the steps, you'll be able to knock it out, right? I don't think education is a barrier for why people haven't reached their goals. The education is absolutely there. I believe one of the main things that's stopping us and hindering us from actually reaching our goals is our lack of momentum, right? And understanding why that plays an important role in our business life. When you think about a basketball team, right? Basketball team is playing their game. I was using Lakers because that's my squad. The Lakers, right? LeBron shoots a 3, right? Davis shoots a 3. Every player on that team shoots a 3, is knocking them down back to back to back to back. They're on a 20-point scoring run. What do you think the other team is going to do? Somebody let me know. While this squad is making all these points in a row, what is the other team going to do in this situation? Timeout. Remember, the opposing team is your adversary. They don't want you to win. They want to win, right? Which is fair. The other team is going to call a timeout while you're making all these points. But what's the purpose of a timeout? To stop what? Momentum. If you don't know the things that are going to create momentum, and you don't know the things that are going to stop your momentum, you're not going to make progress efficiently at all. Right? So a lot of people, they go to these seminars, read these self-help books, they get inspired and get the education, but they don't understand the things that are going to create constant momentum when people call timeout. Life will call a timeout on us periodically, right? But we should now use that timeout as an advantage to us, but not just to the adversary or opposing team. All right, we don't want to keep that momentum up. All right, so in this stage of preparation, we need to know how to create more momentum. 4th, we need to identify stress triggers. We need to remove lack of commitment and discipline. We need to remove toxic thoughts. We need to remove toxic environments. We need to remove toxic media that we consume. We need to remove time mismanagement. We need to remove finance mismanagement. We need to remove our hygiene, our lack of hygiene and appearance, right? The way we look, anyways, we'll talk about that in a second, right? We need to remove toxic relationships. We need to ultimately heal ourselves before we start a business. As a business owner, what we're doing is we're saying, I volunteer to solve a problem that I identified exists. And because nobody else stepped forward to volunteer, I'm going to be the one to do it. Or there's other people who are volunteer, but I don't think they're doing the service any justice. I want to be the one to volunteer to do it. Most people, when they start their business, they don't have that passion. They don't have that mindset. All they care about is the moolah, the bread. And that's why when a situation happens, everything just falls apart because everything was predicated on money. The worst thing that happened to me in one of my businesses was when all my decisions was based on the income. That's the worst decision you can ever make in a business because of income. If it's influenced because of income, I'm not going to do this because of this lack of income or because I don't want to spend this income or whatever the case may be. Income should never be the influencer on what we need to do as a servant at all. All right. So let's go over some of these things one by one. All right. So I believe the first thing, again, this is a process that I go through. And as you guys notice, I document everything I do in order. The first thing I do before I start any business, right, is I self-evaluate myself. Because there'll be times where you're straight, but there'll be times when you're not straight. So when you're not straight, you have to go back to the drawing boards and self-evaluate. My mentor used to tell me, my mentor William Bradley, he told me, he's an educator, right? He drops bars all the time to people, just naturally. He told me most recently that he quit his job as a mentor, and now he's a salesman. He sells mirrors to people. And that's how he accomplishes his goal. Think about that statement. My job is to sell mirrors to people. That's the greatest thing you can ever give to somebody, is allow them to self-evaluate themselves. Because when you look in a mirror, you then at that very moment get to realize what you need to do to move forward. But a lot of people wake up every day not looking in the mirror, right? Imagine just physically, you going to work. Imagine you always go to work, you never look in the mirror, right? What are the chances, right, of you looking the way you need to be looking every time you go out without looking in the mirror first, right? We need to start thinking about things, not just on a physical standpoint, but also on a spiritual level too, intellectual level, all right? So self-evaluation is the most important thing. It's also called a self-interview. Please, you probably think like, what does this have to do with Airbnb? I promise you, please trust me in this process. Please interview yourself before you start your business. Because when you actually apply for somebody else's job, what's the first thing they want to do to you? They want to interview you, right? They want to interview you to make sure that you are the right fit culturally, right? That you're competent, right, for this job. But before you start this Airbnb business, you need to ask yourself, am I first fit enough to be able to start this business? Or are you just going to be wasting your time? I don't want nobody wasting no time. And interviewing yourself is not a difficult process. So what does that actually look like? That's the question. Because I know you guys understand this. It's not rocket science. But what does this actually look like? I'll explain. Since I'm showing my screen, here's the thing. I wrote these questions down. You can literally use these same questions and answer it for yourself. I did it for myself. And I started realizing things about myself I didn't even know about myself. It was in my subconscious. I need to push all the things that are in my subconscious up front. ASAP. So the first thing was, what is your name? What's your name? I don't know if I felt this way, but me typing my own name after answering my own question, what is my name? It felt therapeutic, right? Because now I'm talking to myself. I'm having a conversation with myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's super powerful. Super powerful. All right. Second question is, what do you currently do and what are your responsibilities on that job? Right? I listed it. I'm a business coach. I share my failures, successes, and I provide direction in business. I'm a business developer. I'm a marketer. I'm a manager. And most importantly, I'm an evangelist. So I know what role and title I play. So what's a quick description about myself? Full name, birthday, ethnicity, birthplace, residences, height, weight, relationship status, children. It's good and super important to write these things down. Then number 4, what notable people or brands have you worked with? Whether you're a business owner or not, that question still applies. Who have you worked with? Who have you had a communication with of notability? 5, what are some of the events that you've experienced that have boosted your confidence and served as confirmation that you're on the right path, right? So I wrote that answer. Here's another key thing. How did your entrepreneur journey start? And again, if you're not an entrepreneur currently, you can still use this question on how did your life start? I literally created a bullet point list of some of the most influential times in my entrepreneur life. 2005, what was I doing? I was selling candy in high school, right? Making $26 a day. What was I doing in 2018? I used to promote parties in LA and Hollywood. 2008, 2009, what was I doing? I wrote down everything I was doing in these years that was significant towards my life. You notice, one of these things I just posted on my Instagram, and now I got 300 DMs about it. I almost forgot I did this. Think about it. Things happen as time goes on. If you don't document it, if you don't always self-evaluate, you forget how powerful you are, how blessed you've been, how valuable you are, how much expertise you actually have. And I won't be surprised by at the end of this conversation, you're not going to even want to do Airbnb no more. You're going to be finding something that you already have skills in that you need to tap into ASAP. And don't feel a certain type of way about that. That will be God's will, right? Airbnb is just a tool just to show the same process. I can do the same process no matter what business you bring at me. You want me to sell computer mouses, I'll do the same exact thing. I'll be the top computer sales mouse on the internet. I know this for a fact.
What'd you say?
I started this business. Right? So anybody have any questions so far?
They love you, huh? They love you.
Anybody? Nobody? Somebody? Cool. So notice all these things I listed here, I'm actually going to create a storyline for every single one of these things so I can get people to know who I am. The reason why people aren't doing business with you, the reason why you're not attracting certain opportunities, because you don't even know who you are. You're not telling your story, right? I fell in love with certain people because I learned their story. That's the powerful point of documentation. When you watch a documentary of Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson, people that you've never met in your life, you feel like you know them. You think about these people that never met these celebrities or idols before, but they feel like they know them. Why? Because their story was shared. We saw how many people saw Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5 movie growing up. You feel like you was a part of that family. Why? Because their story was shared. We need to get to the point where we're sharing our story as much as possible. But in order to do that, we have to start interviewing ourselves, right? Create your own biography, your self-biography, all right? And in a simple matter, I'm not telling you to write a whole book. I'm just telling you just quick bullet points. What did you do when you were born? 5 years, 10 years, 11, whatever the case may be. Write down some of those things that you were doing in your life. And I guarantee you're going to find stories in those situations that will impact other people's lives. And when you impact other people's lives, they trust you. They want to be a part of your missions. They want to support you. You know how many people, I wasn't even selling anything after my post. You know how many people asked me for something that they want to buy? Because it was just an innate feeling inside. Like, dang, this man just shared all this information. Let me buy something. let me figure out a way to give back to him. That's a human aspect that we all have inside of us, innate, right? So, and it all comes from storytelling. I want everybody to focus on being powerful storytellers. And it's not just some gift of the gab. It's literally just telling what happened to you. It's the easiest thing I could ever tell somebody to do. Tell me what happened to you. What happened to you in your life? Instead of asking people, hey, what's up? How's your day? Ask them, what's your story? Get in the habit of asking that question. And you see how powerful that conversation is going to be. Every time you have a conversation, you can have this conversation with a homeless person. And I promise you, you'll leave that conversation inspired. You won't be surprised how many homeless people have the most amazing stories that can inspire you to do things that are great. All right, so that's that point. And all these realizations that I had came from just me interviewing myself. Nobody told me this. I never went to school. I had these self-realizations, God-given realizations, just by interviewing myself. Right? First thing you do when you go into a doctor's office, they ask you all these questions. Before they can diagnose any sickness or help you out with anything that you're trying to get, they interview you. Same thing, interview yourself. All right. So another question, when did you decide that this is what you want to do in your occupation? Question. How did the way you were raised impact your entrepreneurship? What kind of education or training did you have? Who has helped impact your business success? Whether it's books, movies, friends, really write those things down. Like, dang, I didn't realize that this person is the reason why I'm doing this. Wow. Once you start realizing the things that allow you to grow, you need to start focusing more on those people, more on those things, whether it was books, whether it was movies. I wrote down the key things that allow me to speak the way I speak today, that allow me to do the actions that I do today, right? Certain books I read completely changed my life, like completely. Right? Eric Rees, Lean Startup Methodology, Simon Sinek, Start With Your Why, Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets. All these different books completely changed my mindset on how to operate moving forward. Right? And there's certain books, there's certain things that you've watched that change your life. You need to write those things down. What else do we have here? Who are the top people you recommend people should follow on social media? If you don't have anybody in mind when somebody asks you this question, you're not following the right people. And I'm not just talking about highly influential celebrity. I'm just talking about, like, why aren't people following this person? Because I'm following him and he's impacting my life. But if you have nobody to recommend, no books to recommend, that means you're not reading books. If you don't have people to recommend, you're not the right people. You know what I'm saying? If you're not recommending the movies for people to watch, you're not watching the right movies. That's how it works. All right. What topics interest you the most? You really need to write these things down. Where do you go for business advice? This question alone exposes a lot of people. Like, dang, where do I go for business advice? Dang, I don't go nowhere. I don't go nowhere. But if you do go somewhere, good. Write it down. What do you believe in is your most valued skill trait? This question, a lot of people don't know what they even have skills in. Because you know what happens? The things that God gave you as a talent, they become second nature. And because they're second nature, you don't value it as much as other people. You probably had conversations with people who were like, dang, they boasted about you. They praised about something that you did that you didn't see had any significance at all. Right? And the reason why you didn't have any significance, like I mentioned before, is because it's second nature. But here's the thing. In order to help people do things, you just have to be one step ahead. You don't have to be some super guru in something. I'll give you a perfect example. The movie, and Russell Brunson explained this movie situation when Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio. If anybody's seen this movie, they know that Leonardo DiCaprio played a con artist, a scammer, Frank. Real story. This person literally pretended to be a pilot, got the job, and was flying airplanes. Like, he got jobs that he had no credibility in, no certificates, no credentials, and he was doing it, right? Scamming people, con-arting people, being a con artist. They finally caught this guy, and the last job that he had was, he was a psychology teacher. He taught a whole semester of psychology. Never went to school for it, right? So when they caught him, they asked him a question. So how did you get away with teaching a whole semester of psychology to adults, like people who have wisdom? How did they get tricked by this, right? You know what his answer was? I was one chapter ahead. Goodness gracious. All you have to be of value to people is one chapter ahead. You don't have to have 10 years of experience in something, 20 years, one chapter ahead. I've been doing Airbnb for less than a year and a half. I'm already the top host because I didn't come into the game thinking I was somebody. All I needed to do was study one chapter at a time. And I was teaching as I went. I didn't wait until I had 30 properties before I started teaching. And you have to realize that the teaching process is what actually makes you a better entrepreneur. While you practice, you have to preach it, right? You've heard the term preach or practice what you preach, but in order to preach it, in order to practice, you have to preach it. It holds you accountable when you do so in that method, right? I think it's the same concept in the Bible and the gospel. The disciples, when they were learning the teachings, the same moment, God was telling them to make disciples of other nations, right? Because it's a process. In order for me to be an amazing gym trainer, personal trainer, I too have to be training at the same time. But the fact that I'm training somebody always keeps me accountable to always keep training. I really want everybody to be teachers, to tell your story and teach the game and document the game. All right. So then we have, what beliefs do you have, right? I believe one of my top skill traits is self-criticism. I don't need somebody in the room to tell me what I'm doing wrong for me to make moves. I already asked myself that question. How many people ask yourself that question? Like, what am I messing up at? What do I lack in? Is my communication really that good? But you know what stops us from asking those questions? Arrogance. Arrogance is literally the number one reason, the root problem for everything that we do wrong. I guarantee you, name any problem that ever happened in this world, it always leads back to arrogance. I wanted to do it my way, how I wanted to do it. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care about this. I like it my way. That's what arrogance is. Think about that situation, right? But some of my good skill traits, problem solving, asking the right questions, creating org. I want people to start making a list of things that you're good at, right? But here's the thing. I'm going to use an illustration of the Johari window, something I learned while studying marketing. So stop share. Hopefully you're not going to cloud my drawing, but I'm going to try to freestyle it right now with this whiteboard. All right, so where we at? There we go. So anybody heard the Johari window before? Yes, no, maybe so. All right, so this is how it works. So there's a window, right? And in this window, there's 4 boxes, 4 perspectives, 4 views. In this window, we have the known knowns, right? So the known knowns, I'm gonna write KK for known knowns. KK, known knowns. Known knowns are things that you know about yourself that other people know about you. The known knowns. Make sense? Then we have the top right window. The unknown knowns. There's things that you know about yourself that other people don't know about you. Very important. They're the known unknowns. There's things that other people know about you that you don't realize about yourself. Make sense? Then we have the unknown unknowns. Things that you don't know about yourself that nobody also doesn't know about you. Why is this important? The Johari window. Understanding how this process works allows you to be more humble and start asking more people for feedback. Very important. Ask people about yourself, because you should start realizing things about yourself that you didn't even realize. Those are the known unknowns. Then the more you tell your story to people and communicate how you are, what you've been through, you get other people to know about your unknown knowns, right? The known knowns are self-relevant. Everybody knows the things that they know about you and the things that you know about yourself. But the unknown unknowns are the things you don't know what you don't know, right? Only God knows, and you knowing that concept exists allows you to always continuously study about things and always ask questions, as many questions as possible. All right. So when it comes to this, the reason why I bring this up is because in that question I asked, what are your expertise? There's things that you know about yourself that other people don't know, and there's things that other people know about you that you don't know. So you need to start asking people, what do you think I'm good at? I made a list of things that I'm good at, that I have skills in and traits in. I wrote these things down, but what are things that you noticed about me that you notice are really good? Then you realize, like, dang, I didn't even realize that. I am pretty diligent in this, right? And the whole purpose of you understanding your skill or your superpower is so you can use it. When you watch superhero movies, there's always a scene in a comic book or the movie where the superhero realizes and identifies their power. And it's not up till that moment until they can start doing the things that they were made to do. Same way for us. All right. What's your superhuman strength? What's your superhuman power? 15. What are some early adversities on your entrepreneurship journey? Let me go ahead and share the screen again. What are some early adversities on your entrepreneurship journey you've had to deal with that made you stronger? All right. Again, that's part of the storytelling. What situation did you have to go through to make you say, dang, I really overcame that? And when you realize by answering this question, you went through a process that was really painful. You went through a test that you passed, right? You had a very, very deep pain that you overcame. What I want everybody in this session to understand is you need to turn these pains into profits. There's somebody else in your inner circle, outer circle, that went through the same exact situation you went through. The same exact. And all they needed to do is hear you tell them that you went through it and you have the solutions, and let me share it with you. Whether it's free of charge or you charge them. Of course, most of the things that you do, Noble asks you do, should be free of charge. But there's a point where it's actually your obligation to charge. There's a saying my mentor always says, in order for them to pay attention, they have to pay. You literally have to make a financial investment, intellectual investment, sweat investment to really actually get the results you need to get. You have to feel invested into it. And that's what the process of trading transactions is. All right. So that's that. So I'm not going to get too much into this. All right. Please answer these questions. Will you be able to be a successful business owner in any field not doing this? Yeah, there's many people who's been successful without doing any of this, right? What I want you to do is expedite the process. I want you to hack, use the cheat code from building a business in 3 years to 2 months. If you saw my Instagram story, I built the first ever viral clothing brand in less than 3 months. 3 months. You know how many years it takes for most clothing lines to become successful? 5, 6, 7 years. Why do you want to invest 7 years in something that you can do in 2, 3 months? Not only is that a horrible, foolish decision to make, you're actually disservicing the people that you want to service by prolonging the time to do so. You have to realize that. You are actually a disservice. You think you're servicing people? You're being a disservice by choosing to do things the most inefficient way. Hopefully that makes sense. And that really touches somebody's heart, because my mentor had to tell me that. I'm thinking I'm killing the game. I'm doing my thing. That's why you need somebody in here like, step it up. Step it up. Don't get arrogant, which reminds me of how the Romans used to get down, right? The Roman Empire, one of the greatest nations of times. The Roman emperor will send generals out to battle, right? Whether it's Egypt, Persia, Babylon, whatever the case may be, Greece. The generals, after they won a victory, the emperor will throw a huge banquet festival, have every single citizen come together in whether it's the Colosseum or the streets to applaud and give praise to the general, right? Because he risked his life, he was successful, came back home safe. One victory for Rome. But you know what the emperor will do in that chariot that the general will be on, receiving all this praise? He will have a man right behind him in his ear, every 10 minutes, whisper in his ear, "You're just a man. You're just a man." Think about what happens when you have hundreds of thousands of people praising you. You're on a chariot after you did something really successful. What happens to your head? You get a big head, little body. Just picture that. Picture that situation. Big head, little body. How crazy do you look? So what the emperor did was he established a situation where he has somebody always reminding him in his ear, "You're just a man. You're just a man." How many people in your circle are in your ear telling you, "You're just a man. You're just a woman"? And when I mean just a man, I'm not saying devaluing you. I'm just letting people know that you're not ever in a situation where you need to put yourself above other people. Because in order to teach people, you have to understand them. And in order to understand them, you need to stand under. That's how the pros play. You have to be the ultimate servant by standing under. But a lot of the movies, the music, the things that we watch, it teaches us to have pride, right? But that's a whole nother conversation. So next question. What do you like about your job? What are some of your business goals? Please answer these questions. Let's go ahead and move on. All right. So once, think about it. This can take an hour or it can take a whole month. I don't care how long it takes. It needs to be done periodically. Not one time, one and done. It needs to be done every so often. All right. So let's move on. Once you self-evaluate yourself, I believe the next step is to create a contract. The first thing business people recommend you to do when you start a business with somebody else, you agree on these terms, you come up together. First thing you do is make an agreement, make a contract. But usually when you're starting your own business by yourself, there's nobody to make a contract with. The purpose of a contract is to hold somebody accountable. Nobody said that you can't make a contract with yourself. It might sound awkward, but it's actually makes sense. Again, you're making a physical investment to something that you said you're going to do. You didn't just say it. Now you're writing it down. Now you're signing it. Now you're having a witness sign it. And now you're posting it on your social media, or you're in your room or your elevator or your refrigerator, showing people that this is what you say you're going to do. And this is the time you're going to say is done. It's going to get done. You're creating more accountability around your life. Creating this contract is the most powerful thing I've ever done in my life, ever. You think it's childish. You think it's meaningless at first until you see how it impacts you therapeutically. All right, so that's that. How do you do that? What does that look like? Here, list the date of tasks that will be completed. Write out the contract terms on a big white construction paper. List how you'll be rewarding yourself. Date and sign the contract. Ask a person that you highly respect. That's key. Ask a person you highly respect to sign the contract. Right? A lot of times we don't really like letting somebody down that we respect. Somebody asks you to do something, you mess up. Dang it, I dropped the ball. My bad. But we don't have that same energy towards ourselves when we let ourselves down. when we break our own promise. When we break our own promise, oh well, too bad. Which was worse, breaking a promise to somebody else or yourself? We never look at it that way. And when I'm talking to myself as well, because it's not some situation I just mastered. It's something that we all need to realize we need to be doing. All right. So that's that contract. All right. So I actually have some students who, just so I can show you what that kind of looks like, who've done this. Yeah, while that loads. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I see the chat. Let me check that out. All right, similar idea of vision board. So the thing is, a vision board and a vision board party is a little bit different from this. What I call this is a reality board. Reality board, first, you need to figure out your current status. Your vision board is what you want to get to. Completely different. Very similar to a GPS. When you want to get somewhere, you don't just put in the address of where you're going. It has to know the address that you're currently at, or there's going to be an error message and you can't get to where you're going. Two critical components. Where do I want to go? Where am I at? Right? And then you can press the go button. Let's start driving. But then it gives you a long list of directions. Some people look at those directions like, dang, I don't know these streets. It's all mental. They start telling themselves something crazy that doesn't make sense. Just follow directions step by step. I promise you get there. Will there might be a detour? Might be an accident? Yes. But that system will prepare you for what to do when those situations happen. All right, so that takes that. Yeah, so this Trello board is public. It's here for everybody. So I want to show you guys what that, I hosted a purge challenge 2 years ago, actually, or last year. Influencing people to actually put this into practice. And in this purge challenge, I'll show you what some of the members, how they completed some of these different tasks I'm asking, requesting and begging people to do. So the contract, it looks like this. My business partner, Charlie, CEO Charlie, he made a contract to himself in 2018, right? Think about it. You make this huge contract and you post it to all your people, all your friends. And then you got to look back to him a couple weeks, couple months, whatever the case may be, and report back to him. How crazy are you going to look saying that you didn't do nothing on that list? Right? See how powerful this is? You're being invested into it. And what we're doing is also creating momentum. All right? So that's what that looks like. Construction paper, write it down, be creative, whatever you want to do. Write down, make that contract. All right, so that's what that looks like. Next. All right, we talked about self-evaluation, interview. We talked about the contract. This is all in the preparation stage. We haven't even started the business yet. We haven't talked about no products. We didn't talk about marketing. We didn't talk about shipping fulfillment. We didn't talk about finance. We didn't talk about none of that. And what happens is a lot of people focus on those things first and their brain just blows up. You got that on top of your family that you're taking care of, your school, your late bills, your brain is going to blow up. All we got to do is focus in priority, sequence, one thing at a time. Remember, a chapter ahead. Okay, so next, what I recommend, again, it's just my recommendation. Next thing you should do is remove all negative thoughts and distractions. We have to alter our attitude, right? This is what we have to do. So how do you remove negative thoughts, distractions? What does that actually look like? All right. So a lot of times when we're starting a business, we have something that's going to stop us from doing it. It's called a distraction. You first have to identify what those distractions are, right? Then you have to consume content that always allows you to feed on positivity. So there's certain podcasts. I don't listen to the radio no more. This was a sacrifice I had to make. You call it sacrifice. I can also call it an investment. I enjoy listening to rap music. As horrible the content is, it does something to you. Right? But I realized that something that was being done to me was killing me. Literally. Right? I'm not going to go too deep on this, but I just want to let you guys realize that certain things that we're putting into our body are literally the core reasons why you'll never, ever get to where you not want to be, where you could be, where you're supposed to be. Let me use that. Where you're supposed to be. So I said, I'm cutting off rap music. It was so hard at the beginning. I'm going to keep it real with you. I try to justify it every time. Well, Drake, he ain't talking about all that killing stuff. I'm going to listen to J. Cole, he conscious. Kendrick, I kept trying to justify it. Every time. Right? But I realized I need to make a decision. And when you actually look up the definition of the word decide, it's two nominative words, D and side. D literally means off. Side means to cut or kill. So when you're making a decision or you're making a choice to decide something, you need to kill it. There's a difference between a choice and decision, right? The word side is also used in homicide. It's used in pesticide. It's used in homicide. It literally means to kill. So why did God create a word when it comes to making choices that has to do with the word kill? Because God doesn't want us to waver between options. You have to kill it and immediately replace it. So when I killed that rap off of my auditory options, I had to immediately replace it with something that I need to listen to, because there's a reason why you're listening to music, rap music. You wanted entertainment. You want your body to move. You want to stop thinking about a certain situation. But rap isn't the only option, right? Somebody hooked me up with some dope podcasts. I already knew about podcasts, but I never found the right podcast that make me say, I'm going to kill rap. I'm going to make a decision now. I'm going to decide, right? Again, decision. There's literally, we have scissors in our mouth. These sharp teeth right here, they're called scissors. Literally, it means to cut. We need to cut it out. Kill it completely. All right. So with this situation, I'm now listening to podcasts. So what podcast was I listening to? I have a long list, right? Earn Your Leisure is a dope podcast that I listen to, right? I'm just going to read it up. Matter of fact. And while I'm in my car, right? While I'm in the shower, I'm listening to Dave Ramsey, right? Sales Funnel Radio. I'm listening to Entre Leadership. Shout out to E.T., my mentor, The Secret of Success. Lewis Howes, The School of Greatness. Confessions of a Terrible Husband. One time I evaluated myself. I realized, dang, I'm a horrible husband. What did I do to fix it? I started listening to podcasts that train horrible husbands to become better husbands. All right? Entrepreneurs on Fire, Gary Vee, Side Hustle School, Earn Your Leisure, Rich Dad, Poor Dad podcast, Tim Ferriss Show. I have a long list of podcasts that now take up my time. So now every time I hop out the shower, I feel like Superman. Every time I hop in my car, I feel like Superman. I don't feel like killing and beating up somebody. Listen to certain music, right? And this is all helping the cause. There's certain things and activities that we're partaking in that's not helping the cause. All right. So getting rid of negative thoughts, those are some ways to do that. Certain movies on Amazon Prime, certain movies on Netflix. I rarely watch movies. I primarily watch documentaries. And these documentaries Anyways, that's all. But you get my point. Let's move on. What time we at? We're an hour in. Again, I feel bad for anybody who thought we was just going to be talking about Airbnb and that's it. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. But I believe it's my obligation to do so in this manner. The next thing I think we should do is organize our environment. Again, I'm not telling nobody, I'm not your daddy. I'm not your older brother. Most of the people in here, I could call you my older sister or my older brother. I'm not telling anybody anything that you don't already know. But when I talk about organizing your environment, we need to understand why it's important. Not just do it because somebody told you should do it and now it's your habit. We need to understand why we are doing it. All right? So what I'm doing is, again, with that purse challenge, what I try to do is I try to make sure that people take a before picture of every area in their house, right? Their kitchen, before and after. Can everybody see my screen still? You see my screen? Good. Before and after. Trying to do business in an area like this, it does something to you subconsciously. It completely scrambles your brain and makes you disorganized. There's another term for a company. There's another term for a business. It's called an organization, because everything needs to be what? Organized in all aspects. I can't be in my business with a tidy office, telling people to be organized, telling people to show up early, but when you come into my home, it looks like a tornado went through it. We can't be hypocrites. We have to be consistent throughout our entire life, starting with our personal life. Because you're going to realize at the end of this, what I'm trying to actually build is our personal brand first. When we build our personal brand, you can build any business you want. I sold hair, women's hair. I sold emoji sweatshirts, right? I sold iPhone covers. I sold access to cars, luxury cars. None of these things have any relation with it. But I can do so because I built a personal brand. You can build any business you want when you have a personal brand. All right. So this is what that looks like. Before and after of your kitchen, bathroom. And it's self-therapeutic doing this yourself. Don't hire somebody else to do it. You do it yourself, and you're going to start realizing things that you didn't know that you even had. Right? Before and after closet, before and after living room, before and after the bedroom, before and after office space, before and after car. How many times when somebody unexpectedly wants to shotgun with you, you have to tell them and make an excuse about how dirty your car is? Every time. Every time I hop in somebody's car, it's guaranteed. Oh, man, my car is kind of a little bit messy, but, you know, every time. And subconsciously, I feel a certain type of way with them, because why are you waiting for somebody to get in your car to now fix it, right? Of course, we're all busy. I'm not saying that we should be all super OCD. I'm just saying that there's certain habits that should be nature, second nature, right? Because it's not just a physical, it's a mindset aspect. It's a mindset thing. Okay? So those are certain things. Document before and afters of all these things to help clean your environment. All right? So let's go back to the preparation stage. If you notice, on my public checklist, it's literally a checklist. There's no thinking involved. Do it, check it. Do it, check it. Do it, check it, move on. Don't be skipping steps, skipping ahead. That's where we start jacking up the process. All right? Next, organize and manage the media that you consume. Okay? Disinfect the television shows that you watch. In order to disinfect the television show you watch, you have to evaluate what shows have you been watching. If you go into your YouTube, log in right now, you'll see all the type of videos that you've been watching. Analyze yourself and be like, dang. Because YouTube is a scary thing. You watch one video, and 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours later, you done watch every video, every fight compilation, every nonsense you can think of. If I go to your Instagram homepage right now, I'll know what type of content you consume. Instagram's algorithm shows you content that you enjoy, that you look at, that you like, that you watch. Evaluate yourself. If you look on my Instagram page, you'll see business professionals, people teaching classes, people showing the game, sharing the game, because those are the pictures I like. I deleted, unfollowed, muted anybody who didn't create content that was going to feed me. It was difficult at first. I had to go through my Instagram page, unfollow, until I realized all I had to do was mute them. So I was actually unfollowing people I knew. They'll call me up or text me. I still have text. I screenshot it. They was hot that I unfollowed them, right? So you don't have to do that. You don't have to unfollow nobody anymore, especially if they're close friends. All you got to do is mute them. So am I telling you to get rid of your friends? No, I'm just telling you to take a vacation from them. A long vacation. All right. Self-explanatory. What websites are you looking at? What apps are you on? What video games are you playing? Video games are of the devil. That's a whole nother conversation. Video games, if anything was of the devil, is definitely music, movies, video games. Depending on how you use it. It's not the medium itself that's bad. It's the content that's being used on it that people love to watch. All right. So get rid of even photos on your phone, contacts that you have that you don't use. Delete them. It's self-therapeutic. I promise you. The delete button is going to make you feel alive. The reset button will make you feel alive. When you have too many things going on all over the place, it causes chaos. Chaos. If I had 20,000 tabs on this computer, what's going to happen to my computer? Default is going to slow down to the point where some computers, they literally freeze, where you have to literally press the reset button. What we're trying to do right now is close these tabs before we have to freeze and completely do a hard reset. Some people have to do a hard reset, but that's the process. All right, next, organize your health and appearance. I think it's very important to understand how important we look, right? I'm not saying that we should be models. What I'm saying is we need to look approachable. And that's as simple as a smile. You can be the ugliest person ever created on mankind. If you dress well, take care of your skin, always smiling, I guarantee you will have enough friends to start your business. And I read a book that you only need 1,000 people in a business. A lot of people, they want 1 million people. They want to do all this marketing instead of focusing on 100 or 1,000. So what does this have to do with? Again, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a beauty consultant. I'm not none of that. All I know is I know if I drink more water, I'll be more healthier. If I eat balanced meals, I'll be more healthier. If I stay physically active, I'll be more healthier. If I always stretch and get massages and dress well, I complete the goal of making sure I'm aware of my appearance. That's it. We don't have to make this difficult. Do these things and we'll make the changes necessary to be able to attract people. And the reason why this section is important when it comes to marketing, when it comes to networking, it's going to be based off of how you take care of these things over here. Networking means you have to meet people, right? And as much as people hate saying, don't want to believe it, people judge books by their cover. Period. Soon as I see you, I'm judging you. The moment I see you, I'm going to go in my Rolodex in my brain and think of every single person that looks like you, how I believe your attitude is, what type of feelings I get toward. This is an innate thing that happens in our brain. It's actually there for safety reasons. We have to have that in our brain. We have to judge things before we have the opportunity to learn more about them. But sometimes they don't have the opportunity to learn more about you, so they're stuck with that judgment, first book face value judgment. Let's make that first face value as approachable and pleasing as we can. That's all I'm asking. So what does that look like? Remember, I did the purge challenge. I'm gonna show you how powerful that looks. Oh, let me first show you how it looks like when I was what was I doing? When I was detoxing my Instagram. So I was following 2,200 people before. I deleted almost 1,000 people that I realized that, dang, these people are a cancer and to the content I'm consuming. And it felt good. The first 3 were difficult, but once I got the ball rolling, I was like, come out one by one. I was making a decision. I decided. All right. So that's how that works. So again, I don't just teach theory. I teach practical ways on how you can do this. How do you know who should be in your circle? Ask yourself these questions right here. All right. Well, we don't have time to go into depth, but there's a practical way of doing all these things. Now, appearance. I'm sorry. These people, these 2 women are actually the same person, right? Same person, right? Of course, we can be comfortable, we can be chill all we want, but when it comes to taking care, you need to know how to take care of yourself, right? healthy hair, healthy skin. Again, my point, smiling. Completely different person. That's what it seems like, right? So that's an example of that. Basic stuff. Basic stuff that makes somebody completely more, what I call brandable, right? Approachable, marketable. And if we have a horrible taste, all we got to do is look at some examples. Right? I'm not saying that people shouldn't have their own individual things. You guys get my point. I don't think it's good today. Right? Again, personal luck, you can be that as long as how you look matches with what you want to do. Period. If you're an artist, you can do that. But if there's certain businesses or positions you want, there's certain things that is going to hinder that process. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Right? Again, smile. Invest in a smile. Am I saying there's anything wrong with having a gap in your tooth? No, not at all. Right? Not at all. Especially if you have other things that attract people. But there's no denying the difference between these two pictures. There's no denying it. Right? Same person. Completely like two different people. All right? So those are all different examples. This one is crazy. Again, it has nothing to do with, it's just, you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's that. All right, next, organize the place that people you associate with. All right, the term is show me your friends and you'll show me the type of person you'll be. We all heard that before. Birds of a feather flock together, but how many people actually put into action? We know these things, but you literally, if I told you write down the last 10 people that you associate with, you know these people aren't supposed to be around you in your circle. We know this. Then why are we still doing it? The whole point of this is to make us have a reality check, and I want everybody to cash it immediately. All right. If you guys see my Instagram page, my Instagram stories, you know what type of people I'm around compared to who I used to be around. All right. Organize your time and energy, right? Time management, super important. I'm not going to get into that. Personal finances. Again, you're going to run into the same situation I ran into with my clothing brand and not managing finances properly if you don't know how to manage your personal finances. How do you do that? These simple steps. All right. Purge negative content and replace with positive. We talked about. So those are all the things that allow you to just prepare yourself. Again, we didn't even start the business. I just asked you guys in an hour and a half some of the principles that are needed just for preparation. And it kind of makes sense. Girls, you guys know when you guys are doing your hair, there's certain things you have to prepare before you even get the process started, right? There's certain things that you have to prep, right? Condition before you even get the process started. Makeup, guys, that's how it works. Now we're going into first grade. All right, now I'm going to start applying some of these things to Airbnb. But first, let me share the story on how I did it. All right, so I already posted it. Some people might have seen it, but there's a difference between seeing the story and hearing it with context out of my mouth. All right, so this is it. Let me back up to the beginning of the story. I have to put the dramatic beginning. This is how it all started. All right, how I created extreme cash flow on Airbnb. Remember, I wasn't trying to start Airbnb to become rich or make all this money. I just needed extra cash flow. Right? Airbnb, out of all the business I ever started, Airbnb's cash flow is crazy because you get paid daily. Right? So let me illustrate something when it comes to cash flow and the importance of cash flow. Let me pull out my whiteboard again. Stop share. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. All right? We're taught two things. I'm actually going to do 3 illustrations. Powerful illustrations. Whiteboard. All right. You guys see the whiteboard, right? Clear all drawings. So what was I about to do? What was he talking about? Cash flow. Okay. So we're taught to have multiple streams of income. That's what we're taught. That you should always have 6, 7 streams of income. But a lot of people get the misconception on what that looks like. right? So these four, I've explained this to some people on one-on-ones, these 4 lines represent 4 streams of income. But the problem with this situation is what you're doing is you're dividing your time into what? 4 different areas. 25% of time is going into this business. Imagine if you had a partner and he said, I'm only investing 25% of my time in it. How would you feel about that? That's what's happening here. You're dividing your time into 4 different streams of income. When it's supposed to look like this, it's supposed to be 1 stream of income that turns into streams. Completely different. And when you actually understand how streams actually work, the water system works, water cycle works, that's how it works. It starts off with 1 stream, it hits rocks and turns into streams. It doesn't start from 4 different water sources. This looks crazy. And that's what people are taught to do. All right. So that's that concept as far as that. Then there's this. As far as extreme cash flow. Most people who have regular jobs, they get paid twice a month, right? 2 times a week or once a week? Twice a month? Twice a month. So say that. Right? So end of the month is here. Right? Start of the month is here. You only get paid twice a month. But do bills only come twice a month? Let me ask you that question. Yes or no? Bills do not come twice a month. Especially if you don't know how to manage your personal finances correctly, they come all throughout the month. Which means you have to be really good at 2 things. Allocating funds properly, and 2, making sure that you have enough income. So, but a lot of times, a lot of people get to this bill and they don't have enough income, right, to pay the rest of the bills. So what they end up doing is doing what? Credit card to offset it, right? Or payday loan. What they say, I know you have a job, I know you have a paycheck coming, but we'll give you the money right now so you can pay your bills, but it's not gonna be free. We're gonna do it with interest. Use this credit card. I know you need help buying things, but we're gonna charge you interest. So you're paying interest on all these things until this paycheck comes, right? And this cycle keeps happening every month. And that interest, late fees keep going up and up, 100, 200, 300 to the point where now your credit's jacked up. Like it's a whole domino effect. This is why cash flow is important. So what Airbnb did for me is it created cash flow, super cash flow for me. I was getting paid every day. I wasn't getting paid twice a month. I was getting paid 30 times a month. Completely different feeling, right? Super important. That can be a good thing and a bad thing depending on your management of money, but that's one of the benefits. I brought that up because we need to understand the benefits of having cash flow. All right, so that's why I titled it Airbnb, how I created extreme cash flow on Airbnb. So this is how it all started. Let me go ahead and share the screen again. Right, I mentioned like a question I always ask. I sit down with entrepreneurs who need help and ask them my favorite question to expose their mindset. What's your financial goal? A lot of times when I ask this question, as you guys already know, I get the answer, I need $1 million. I need $1 million. Then who told you that? Don't all the movies say that? All the music we listen to, everything always comes down to $1 million. Yo, that sounds crazy because you don't need $1 million. When you actually look at your finances, because if you did step 5 in the preparation stage, you'll realize that you only need an extra $2,000. If you did the preparation stage and you wrote down what your goal is, you'll realize that you only need an extra $100. And that this $1 million that you're trying to attain leads to nowhere. Meaningless activity. Vain activity. So what I want to do is eliminate vain activity by understanding what do you actually need to get to where you need to go. Right? So that's the answer I always get. $1 million, I ask why, blah, 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 blah. Right? I love building businesses from scratch, so I started to try Airbnb. So I started off with one unit. I'm going to tell the details, and here I can tell the details on how I got this unit, right? I'll just explain the story before, but now I'm going to explain the details on how I got these units. What was the process look like? So I knew in order to be a part of the Airbnb community, you have to be a host. And in order to be a host, you have to have a property that you're willing to rent out to people willing to pay. Right? So a couple options. Rent your own extra house that you have, or rent your own extra room that you may have in the basement, attic, whatever the case may be. That's an option. Or you can go the business route of acquiring properties that you can rent. All right, so let me use this illustration to explain what different options you have as far as acquiring a unit to rent out. All right, so first, why did I choose Airbnb? I chose Airbnb because through Airbnb, I developed new skill sets. I got exposed to this business. I got exposed and realized my hospitality skills were garbage. I really didn't care about people as I thought I did. In certain situations, you get exposed. You say you're going to do something in certain situations until it actually happens. I said, oh yeah, I'm a servant. I love taking care of people, answering requests. In this business, they call you at 3 o'clock, talk about the internet's not working. Right? They call you at check-in at 10 a.m. that the door code is not working, not realizing the door was already unlocked. Like there's certain situations that test your patience. But if you're really a servant, a humble servant, you're never going to get upset no matter what situation happens. And that's why I'm realizing that God creates certain businesses to train your character to be better. It has nothing to do with income. All right? Patience. I had to look up the word patience. Patience has nothing to do with your ability to wait. The definition of patience is how you act while you're waiting. Think about that situation. Right? You don't call somebody impatient. You have to wait. You have no choice. You call them impatient once they start, why I gotta do, when you start tripping. That's when you call somebody impatient. And impatience comes from lack of self-control. It comes from mismanagement of expectations. It comes from what I told you earlier. Everything goes back to arrogance. Everything literally goes back to arrogance. Every single situation. So I want to get rid of my arrogance. Go to my Instagram page, look at my bio. What does it say? My number one goal is humility. Number one, I want to be a true humble person. And it's not a verbal action. It's not a verbal word. It's an action that's verified through other people. All right. So I want to develop new skill sets. I wanted the opportunity to hire people. I wanted to earn extra income. I wanted to meet influential people. Another benefit of doing Airbnb is depending on what type of unit that you have, you get to meet influential people, depending on what unit. I had a really high luxury, attractive unit. I met all types of NBA players, NFL players, hosts, business people, all types of people. All right. I learned the process of a new business. That was another reason why I was hosting Airbnb. I wanted to develop a hospital character. Talked about that. I want to use this business as leverage. I also, those are the main reasons. And I also want to provide, again, resources for God's administration work. We're in my church, we have in Atlanta, we're the head of the Southeastern Association. So the churches that are in Florida, when they come in town, instead of them paying money for a hotel, right? I had the opportunity to host over 30 different members in my Airbnbs. That was a blessing that I received, a blessing. And I reaped those blessings in other opportunities that was presented to me. I'll explain that a little bit more as we go on. Right? Who can be an Airbnb host? Anybody who has a unit that they can rent. What protection do you have against property damage? So on Airbnb, they cover up to $1 million worth of any damage. As long as you have document proof of how much it costs and that it wasn't damaged before, they'll be able to pay that out with no problem. All right. So there's different business models you can choose with Airbnb. You don't have to have money to start Airbnb. You don't have to have $10,000 investment, $5,000 investment. There's different avenues that you can start Airbnb. So first one is you can manage somebody's unit. So there's somebody, you're driving down, there's somebody who has a house that's vacant, right? They either inherited it or they no longer want to live in it, or they had a renter that just bailed on them. It's empty for whatever reason. You find out that homeowner, condo owner, duplex owner's information, call them and say, I have an opportunity for you. I am a short-term rental host, and I want to be able to rent out your property to guests who are willing to pay per day $100, $200. And I want to split that revenue with you. I don't need any money for that. Right? I need $0 for that. Because you have somebody who has skin in the game, the owner. You don't have to be an owner to generate income. You just need to be a facilitator of solutions. All right, so that's one way. You choosing to be a manager of somebody else's property. There's actually people who make more money doing this than actually owning the property themselves. Keep that in mind. Something else, as far as an option, as far as Airbnb, is called what they call master leasing. So master leasing is very similar to the process of anybody who rents out an apartment, who rents an apartment. You go into the leasing office, you apply, you become a leaseholder, and for a year, you have authority to live in the space, right? And you pay a certain amount of rent. Master leasing is basically you having in the addendum agreement to sublease it to other people. Let me show you what that actually looks like. All right, so there's people, believe it or not, who are willing, typically condo owners, to allow you to sublease unit. As long as you present yourself right, you know how to take care of yourself, you have negotiation skills, persuasion skills. All right, I'm gonna open up a lease agreement. Here it goes, right here. So in the addendum, meaning the extra part, simply put, the extra part of the agreement, there's a section. So this is a lease agreement that I'll use for a condo owner. Again, I don't deal with leasing management companies because they typically don't want you subleasing. They don't want you renting out spaces and making money off of their properties that they're managing, right? But there are people who are willing to do so. So this is what this looks like, all right? So it's a typical standard agreement. Everybody can see this, right? Yes? Thumbs up? Good. But here's the key section. The key section is here. An addendum. Assignment, subletting, and short-term rental. Without limiting the allowance, so you'll have a lawyer, but this is already done. Already had a lawyer do it. Without limiting the allowance in the lease of subletting, assignment, and licensing, and without limiting any of our rights or remedies, this addendum to this lease further supplements and defines the requirements contained in this lease contract between you and us, right? You are allowed, meaning you are getting permission. You are allowed subletting, licensing, or renting to any third party or allowing occupancy by any third party of all or any portion of the dwelling, whether for overnight use or duration of any length. This allowance applies to overnight stays or other stays arranged on Airbnb.com, Booking.com, VRBO, or any third-party websites. Additional clause on what that subleasing means, short-term means, all that good stuff, right? And conditions and concerns, right? So those things will be applied into a contract that you will have somebody agree to. Again, it's just a matter of finding somebody who's willing to do it. That's it. You don't have to sneak around and try to Airbnb units that you're not allowed to do it. You don't want to be out here looking like a criminal, right? There's a lot of red tape concerning this. There's a lot of properties that don't want you. There's a lot of HOA people that don't want you making money off of units because of understandable reasons. Some neighbors, they don't want that. They don't want random people next door coming in and out, which makes sense. So that goes back to your respect for other people. If you have no respect for other people and you only care about money, you're going to do what you want to do. Check yourself. You're playing the short-term game. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to be worth the time. And again, this business is not going to make you a millionaire. This business is made to help you with what? Cash flow. Extra income that you can use for small little things. The ultimate goal is to turn liabilities into assets, right? I wanted my own home mortgage, my rent, to pay for itself. So I acquired an Airbnb that pays for that unit and my unit. Now I'm living for free. That's a strategy that wins, right? That's a goal. I didn't say I want to become a millionaire. No, I said I don't want to pay for my rent no more. How simple is that process? How easy is that to communicate? How easy is that to vision on your day-to-day basis? Very simple. As long as you follow the steps. It's a simple process. Is it easy? It all depends on if you did your proper preparation and you have the right people around you. Next. So those are the different business models. Then we have acquisition. So there's typically 3 business models. The third one is acquisition, meaning you purchase the property, you own this property, and now you're renting this out. Whether it's long-term, which is what typical investors do, or typical renters do, or short-term. But a lot of long-term renters are realizing the short-term play is more profitable as long as their lifestyle conditions it, meaning they have somebody who can manage it, or they can do it themselves. They have time to do it themselves. All right, so those are the 3. You need to identify which one you want to fall into. They all have their pros and cons. They're all different depending on who you are, what you do, and what you want to do. Very important to understand that. So that's how you choose a business model. Next step is how do you choose and how do you scout your property? Right? How did I find my properties? This is basically the only way I can answer that question. So what I did was, again, I wanted to do master leasing. I didn't want to manage other people's property. I wanted to master lease. I want to find a property for $2,000 a month and make $9,000 a month from it. Okay, how am I going to do that? I have to do it in areas that are highly populated, like downtown, midtown, the city. Right? So there's a website called Trulia.com. Trulia.com, there's many different resources, but I use Trulia.com. And I'm in Atlanta, greater Atlanta. So I already know where the hotspots are. I know it's in Buckhead. I know it's in downtown, midtown, Lenox, Dunwoody. There's certain areas that I know are affluent that will attract people who are willing to pay $350, $450 a day for a unit, right? Granted, it has enough space to hold 3 people, 4 people so they can split the cost, right? So Trulia.com allows you to look for rental spaces, right? In whatever city you want, right? Then it gives you a database of different places that are for rent. Then it also gives you an option to look for places that are owned by somebody, not managed by a leasing company, right? Typically, those are called condos. Condos are owned and typically listed by somebody who actually owns it. All right. So that's what I did. I searched a specific area. I'm looking for condos. I got the information and I spit my game. Remember the importance of appearance. Now it's going to play a part. Remember the importance of how to speak and know what you do, why you do it. All that's going to be brought up in these conversations that you have with people. My stories that I share, they fall in love with me to the point where all logical sense is no longer a reason on their decision on whether they're going to allow me to do it or not. It's now based on emotional attachment. That's really what sales is. Logic is not going to do it. You can show all the numbers in the world. Oh, these are the numbers. This is how I'm going to. Who cares? Nobody cares about logic. And if you are a man who has a wife, you understand that. Logic means nothing. Emotions, understanding how to win and influence people, which is a book recommendation. I guarantee you, if anybody reads this book and really not just reads this book, but studies it with the mind to put it in practice, you'll be able to negotiate and influence people as much as possible. Okay, so anyways, there's so many different moving parts, but let me stick to the point. Here, I found the places that I want to find. In Atlanta, it's called the perimeter. So there's a perimeter. If you see this map, there's a circle where there's certain cities within that perimeter of the 285. All right. So I found those areas, and then I matched it up with who currently has units in that area on Airbnb. Remember? So that's what I did, market research. So I typed in the area. So my units are in Midtown. There's an area called Atlantic Station. Right. So I said, okay, who currently has units in Atlantic Station? How much are they charging? What their units look like? How many bedrooms? How often are their places getting booked? So I can gauge ideas on what I need, what I want to do. Right? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to find somebody doing something and I'm going to do it better than them. Because I evaluate certain things that I know guests want. And the only way for you to understand what guests want is if you care, which goes back to preparation. If you lack empathy, you're never going to find the little nuances that are going to make you a better business owner. It's not going to happen. When you care, you're like, dang, I don't want somebody to have this. I want them to have this because I know that's what they want. And if you don't know what they want, ask. That's what the Johari window is for. The unknown knowns, right? All right, so I'm scoping out. This was a year and a half ago. I'm scoping out. Okay. I know what I need to do. I know how many bedrooms I need. This is what I'm gonna do. All right, so that's that process. Where we at in the process? Interview, don't need this open. All right, so that's how I identify the top areas of hosting on Airbnb and how I did the local market research on price. Right? Now, how do I finance the property? Right? So if you're doing the management, you don't have to worry about this. You're not financing nothing. Or also, you can also find partners. Finance partners where they invest the money, you do the work. That's an even trade-off. Sweat equity is just as valuable as cash if you are competent, if your skill is valuable enough. Always understand your value, which goes back to what? The preparation stage. If you don't know what your value is, it's going to be very difficult for you to negotiate deals with people. All right? Financing. So you got a couple options. You can get a loan. You can find a partner who invests time, money, experience, or roles. Those are usually the type of investments somebody can make in a partnership. I can invest time. I can invest money. Well, I can invest experience. I can invest a role. All right. Next, how to secure a property. Again, I'm not a financial consultant, none of that. But how I financed it was through my other businesses. I actually chose the option of master leasing. So I did have $10,000, $11,000 to front the money. But did I need it? No, it just, what it helped me do is expedite the process. Right? Are there ways to secure loans and funding? There's many ways. Google it. It's not difficult, right? There's certain things, but you have to be patient. If it takes 3 months to do it, take the 3 months to fix your credit to do it. If it takes a year, take a year, then need necessary to fix your situation. If you messed up in the past, deal with the consequences and be patient. But do your due diligence so you can be set up to do things properly. All right. How to secure the property, how to pitch landlords on Airbnb. So how I pitched landlords on Airbnb was keep it simple. I was really transparent. I'm a business owner, and it didn't hurt to pull up in a Maserati when I met up with these people. It didn't hurt to bring a gift, to dress nice, to talk nice, to smell good. It didn't hurt to do certain things that will allow me to have influence in the situation. Right? It's not a form of manipulation. It's a form of a negotiation. It's a form of getting the things that you want by knowing what they want. All right? What do the people who own houses want? They want to make money off their property. You're coming to them and saying, I have an opportunity to make sure you get money off your property. That's what you lead with. You don't lead with, I want to make all this money. I found an opportunity and I need you to do it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You need to evaluate what that person wants first and show them that through whatever opportunity you're trying to present, that's the best opportunity for them to get it. That's it. You want to bring up a deal that's so good that makes them say, what are you getting out of this? It's so good. It sounds perfect. It makes so much sense. They need to ask, so what are you getting out of this? And that's when you have the opportunity to share. And then they say, that's fair. And if they trust you, or if it's God's will, it happens. If it doesn't, move on to the next. That's it. Move on to the next. If somebody says no, doesn't mean, I can't do Airbnb. That's not how it works. It's a numbers game. Luckily for me, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you this story. Matter of fact, so one of my properties, I'm driving down, I see some townhouses, and I see a sign on the lawn. Mind you, these townhouses are in Midtown, prime area, right next to each other, stacked. I see one of the signs say for rent, and it was pointing towards the unit. Had the number on it, I called it. Matter of fact, I got the picture, but it's not on the computer. I have everything documented, but I don't have this documented on Trello. It's on my phone. So I call the number. I let the person know. I call, text, and voicemail. right? Put in my professional voice, all that good stuff. Basically, let them know I'm very interested in looking at your property. My name is Matthew. Give them your first name, last name, email. I want to see what do I have to do to be able to secure this property and make sure that you don't have to worry about looking for somebody to generate you income. Whatever you, however you want to say it, right? Don't make it difficult, right? The whole purpose is to lock in a meeting so you can be face-to-face, or you have the opportunity to do video. You can even be FaceTime. You don't have to meet them with a person. It can be FaceTime. Allow them to see who you are, right? And what you got going on, right? So you pitch the landlord on the opportunity, on what you want to do. And if they're down with it and they're with it, you got it. If they don't, you don't. So one of the units I applied, I got denied. I said, I used the verbiage. I want to be able to use your unit for corporate leasing, right? Because that's what it is. It's a fancy word saying I'm about to do Airbnb. I'm going to do corporate leasing. I want to rent out your unit to professionals that are going to be in the area. I'm going to take care of your spot. I know all the things that are necessary for you to make sure that your house is protected, because when your house is protected, the business I'm trying to run is protected. And now I have to prove that to you that I'm a responsible business owner. Here's some of the things I've done in the past. Here's some of my resume, right? Explain all that stuff. And as you explain all those stuff, they're going to say yes or no. Some parties tell me straight up, I'm sorry, you're a nice dude. We love you. I wish you were in, but we just can't do corporate leasing. Perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know. Thank you so much for your transparency. Let me know if you have any recommendation for somebody who is willing. Hey, Mr. Matthew, I know that we couldn't accept your offer for your unit. Your credit was good. Everything passed. However, like we mentioned to you before, we don't do corporate leasing in this unit, but we found somebody who actually is interested in it. Here's a number. Got him. Next door. Called her, Asian lady, Mrs. Amy Hugh. Super lovely. I pulled up on her in my Tesla, talked to her. She fell in love. We was vibing. Right? She was so nonchalant, like cool people's person. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in there, right? Long story short, I was in there. $3,300 deposit, $2,700 a month. Got the furniture, got that place listed. Make me money. Make me cash flow, funds. All right, so that's what the situation that happened. All right, so back to the story. What's that story looking like right now? Any questions so far? In the context of what I've shared, please train yourself to have self-control on asking questions that are in context of where we're at. A lot of times, again, we go all over the place. If not, I'll continue. All right, T. Hall, you got a question? $2,700 a month. Again, you don't have to get units that were expensive like mine. I just chose because I was able to at that moment. Right? You can always build up to it, or you can just choose to do lower income properties at volume. Right? You don't have to do Gucci. You can make money with value stores. It just has to be at volume. Walmart is the literally number one company in the world because of that business model. Volume. How to find prime areas in Los Angeles. Again, the way I already explained, the way to find prime areas in a certain area is to find put in the address or city in Airbnb and see how many people have a unit there already. That's it. Think about that. Where is everybody at already? Don't make the process difficult. If they're there already, now what type of competitive advantage am I going to have over them? That's it. Don't be scared of the fact there's people there already. And it doesn't have to be prime. Remember, whatever your goal is, whatever you do has to match that goal. Remember that. Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So let me go and move on. So that was my first unit. It doesn't look like much, right? After I did a lot of research, I locked in a deal with this condo owner in August 19, 2018, right? It was a 2-level loft. I know the people I want to target, they love lofts, right? It's something different from what they usually, like a flat that they're used to. So that's what I was going for, a loft, right? It didn't look like much until I started furnishing it. So I wanted to keep a budget tight. I went on Craigslist. I went on OfferUp and Lego. I want to find lightly used furniture that I can use to decorate. I came across some 8-foot paintings that I originally wanted to flip. He wanted to sell them for $1,000. I really wanted to, because I knew they were worth more than that. So I went to flip it. I didn't actually think to put it in the unit, but that's actually what ended up happening. I met with him. I pulled up in my Corvette. He was super cool painter dude from Miami. He told me, long story short, I negotiated to get the paintings in trade for, instead of paying $1,000 for each painting, I got TVs. I traded TVs for him because the Airbnb that he was staying in, he was actually staying in somebody's Airbnb, and they didn't have any TVs. The Airbnb hostess is high school friend, and he wanted to help her out. She didn't have any TVs. So I said, okay, I'll get you TVs in exchange for your painting. Easy trade, because the value of his painting is whatever he says it is. He doesn't lose nothing. So I got some TVs for $150 and traded it for a painting that he wanted $1,000 cash for. I came up with the barter system. So I got all 4 of them. I picked up the U-Haul. I ran into some issue. I ran the U-Haul into Target sign. My dumb behind. I parked all my luxury cars that I was renting inside a Target parking lot. I'm so used to parking in there. I had like muscle memory. Anytime I'm coming down the street, that's usually what I do. So I'm in the U-Haul, and this muscle memory just told me to make it left. And guess what? Almost turned the U-Haul truck into a Corvette. So I got hit, damaged. Remember, momentum. Because I know the power of momentum, I didn't let this situation phase me. Yes, I knew this was going to be a $2,300 damage. Because why? When I got the U-Haul truck, she asked me if I wanted insurance, and I said no. First off, get the insurance. And 2, don't let any bad situation phase you. Keep the momentum alive, right? I'll figure about these situations later. They're not going to make you pay $2,300 right then and there. You'll worry about it later, right? Don't let the bad situation affect you. So, long story short, I got a bunch of furniture for super cheap. I mean, super cheap. The paintings, carpet, all that good stuff. It's all in here. And it looks amazing, right? Remember how the place looked like before when it was butt naked? It didn't even look good. Actually, when I got the unit, I'm like, dang, I don't know about this once I was in there. But it's all about how you furnish things, right? So I became an overnight interior decorator, messing with Airbnb. So I think I did a good job, because on Airbnb, there's people who have this same exact condo floor plan on Airbnb, and they are charging $150. I have the same exact floor plan. I'm probably paying the same exact money as them, but I'm charging more because how I furnished it. All right. So that's how that worked. So I furnished it, and I got my first booking like a couple days later. I knew that as soon as I signed the contract for the spot, that means time is literally clicking. Every day that passes, I'm paying money for the unit. $2,700 a month divided by 30 is what I'm paying per day. So every day that I don't have this listed on Airbnb and being booked, is every day I'm losing money. Whether it's $50 a day or $75 a day, whatever the case may be, I'm losing money. So I make sure that it got listed. All you have to do is get it listed. Is same thing as making a Facebook account. Upload pictures, put the name, put the description. Airbnb makes it real simple for you to do it. I don't have to explain that. Long story short, I got my first booking August 31st, right? My first booking. Remember how I talked about Cashflow? I got paid for that booking the next day. Well, because this was my first booking on Airbnb, they make you wait 7 days for your first booking, or 5 days, whatever it is. Anyways, I got paid on the 3rd of September. Right? How much did I get paid? Did I show it in here? Yeah, I got paid $850. This is almost what, a quarter, 40% of how much my rent is, paid for 3 days. Things are looking on the up, right? Because I didn't let that U-Haul truck stop me. I'm now focused on generating income to now have no problem paying those damages. My next booking was for 13 days. Think about it. I'm just listening to my thing. Somebody booked 13 days and paid $2,900. Rent is paid already. This is not some falsified number. This is literally what happened. I got the property, signed it, followed steps, got paid. And I was getting paid per day, right? It was like a daily deposit into my PayPal account. 300, 200, 350, 400. Look at the dates. The 6th, 7th, 12th, 23rd, 24th, 25th. It's all consecutive days that money is being cash flowed into my bank account, right? All because I listed it. Of course, as time goes on, you learn that the ins and outs of how to manage the property, right? You start to scale up and get more properties, right? And if you do your due diligence and making sure you not just get bookings, but actually take care of people, you become a superhost. I got the email that I became a superhost less than 4 months. Less than 4 months, I got the email that I'm now a superhost. And what is the benefit of becoming a superhost? When people search for properties, yours shows up first. So when you search my properties, mine was on the front page. More visibility, more views, more bookings. All right. So how to valuably furnish and stage your property? I broke each room into different sections. And typically I try to get the same furniture for all my units to keep things real simple and consistent. So I do have a drive to show how much I paid for furniture. I'm really, really organized when it comes to this because I believe data is important. In order to grow the numbers, you got to know the numbers. So my first unit was this unit 2417. So let's go ahead and look at the numbers. So I furnished everything. I need to itemize everything that was in that unit. And that's what I did. I literally walked through a unit and itemized every single thing. So when you first walk in the door, I have an electronic keypad, meaning I don't have to be there to check in guests. I don't have to worry about lost keys. All they have to do is get access to the code and get in. It was only $60 at Walmart. I have a camera in the front door to make sure that whoever is booking is the actual people booking it. And they're not having a party. They're not having a million people coming through my spot. Paid $130 for that. And when I say these make you make your money back with these investments, you make your money back. Because before I learned to have an electronic keypad, I had a regular key. And guess what happened to the person who booked one of my units? Lost the key and the fob. You know how much a condominium fob key it cost? $75, $100 out of my pocket because of something somebody else did and denied it when I try to put a claim in on Airbnb. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So in the bedroom, these are all the things that were in the bedroom. In the bathroom, first bathroom, those are all things in the first bathroom. Balcony, kitchen, these are all the things that are kitchen. Pantry, living room, so on and so forth. I paid either upfront or over the course of the time, I paid $9,600 worth of stuff that are in that unit. All right. So August, how much money did I make in August? Today, Wednesday. The heck? I made the rent. Remember, the rent was $2,400, but it was prorated because I didn't move in the first month, right? So it was only $1,050 plus the deposit. So electricity was $164, internet was $45, cleaning fees. Hold up, this is not even updated. Yeah, all the names are everything. Oh, you know what it was? Because there was only like 3 days left in that month. Okay, I get it. That's why August, I got it at the end of August. That's why I was only going in. So at the end of August, there was only one booking because I got it at the end of August. So the real thing to look at is September. So my first month, rent was $2,400, electricity $200. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 8 guests. Brought in $4,000. My expenses, my cleaning, my net profit was $787. After everything I had somebody else managing it. I didn't have to do it. $787 is a lot of money per month. Don't lie to yourself and think that you need $3,000, $10,000, $8,000. Keep it simple because that $787 is going to pay your phone bill. Try to pay your bills. That's it. Focus on what can I create that will pay a bill. I didn't have to stop what I was doing to run this business. If I need to stop what I was doing to run this business, then that might have been a problem. But if you can find somebody who will do and manage the business for you for 10%, it's worth it. More than worth it. All right? Don't be afraid to give up responsibilities for people for pay. I had trouble doing that in the early stages of my entrepreneurship. I wanted to do everything myself. I didn't want to pay. I'll just do it myself. Fail. All right? September, that was September. October, all right, it starts to heat up. I get the gist of things. I know what to do. I start buying things in bulk. I know how to price things correctly. I made $2,500 profit. Cash flow. Remember, I'm already doing something else. This is extra income. I had 14, blah, blah, blah. All right. November, I think it was less. Yeah, 25 instead of 28. Yeah, I made 25 that month. December, I made $4,600 profit. Crazy, right? Because Wale actually booked my spot that month. He booked it and paid cash. Like $400 per night for the spot, and broke one of my beds and paid for it. But yeah, I made $4,600 that month for that unit. Pretty good month. January, I made another $4,700. Who stayed here? Oh, I had somebody stay 6 nights. And now I'm charging. When I first listed it, I was charging only $220. I realized that people were willing to pay $350, $400 a night plus a cleaning fee for that spot. Why? Because how I uniquely furnished the property. Nobody's unit in Airbnb looked like mine. Nobody's. Right? So it became not just a place to lodge and sleep, but it also became a place for experience. So when they came in there, they can get their Instagram pictures popping. They can get their videos popping, right? All these things are providing a whole different extra value. Plus, another hack I did was, even though somebody had an exact same floor plan as me, down the hall or down the street, I had 2 beds in the master bedroom, side by side, versus just 1 king bed. Having 2 beds allowed me to have people who would book in groups. So they were willing to pay $450 because they can now split it between more people. Super important. All right. So February, I ended up doing $3,900. March, $2,300. April, $2,800. Where are we at? May, August, July, blah, 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 blah. You guys get the point. I was averaging anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000 profit per month. There's one month I did 7,000. I forgot which. Oh, it was 8,000. What month was this? September. Who stayed here? Oh, Wilford. It was a drug dealer. Well, not drug dealer, but he sell weed, but it's legal in California. So he came out here to do some business, and he was paying me $450 a day, and kept on extending it. And he had no problem with money because the nature of his business. So yeah, I made $8,000 off that unit. All right. So that's how that happened. So those are some numbers. Do these numbers mean that you're gonna do these numbers? No. I'm gonna be straight up with you. No. Matter of fact, to be honest, I can't even say no. I'm gonna say I don't know. All I can tell you is what I'm doing. I don't know what property you're gonna get. I don't know where it's gonna be at. I don't know what your situation is gonna be at. All I know is what opportunities exist. That's my only job, and that's your only job. When you start your business in Airbnb field or any business, you have to document the process, and you have to teach it to other people, and you have to let them know that this is what you did. Don't force your methodology on nobody. Just do what you did. Share what you did. All right, so that's what happened. So long story short, as more and more units became profitable, I started to run into a problem where I started getting people calling my cell phone like, yo, I stayed in your unit last month. Do you have a unit for me? But it'll be already booked. So now my mom's like, okay, maybe I need to get another unit. That's what I did. I ended up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units total. All right. And it was the same exact process as the first one. Same exact process. Right. I found units and I created themes. I didn't want regular units. I wanted my units to stand out. I wanted news publishers to look on Airbnb and want to have a whole news article based on my unit. That's what I wanted. All right. So in December, I made 20,000. February 23, a top month, time was 29,000. So I got another unit. This was the before picture, as you guys saw, and the after picture. This was crazy because I was at Walmart and I saw that they were selling arcades only for $300. Like, dang, that's tight. Maybe I should have that in my unit. I know people will like playing games. Remember, I cared about their experience. I wasn't even thinking about money at that time. I'm thinking, dang, and when people come, this is going to be a dope thing that they can experience. Not knowing that that was going to set off the idea to make the whole unit an arcade. Throw LED lights in there for $30 per 24 yards. Super cheap. And I did it myself. It was adhesive tape. I literally taped it to the baseboards around the whole unit, put those paintings in there that I know people liked, put LEDs around the TVs, and it was on and popping. I didn't want no regular couch. I looked for a couch that had some type of funky color to it, found a red one that turned into a bed. I went to IKEA, found some dope 80s themed bed sheets and comforters and carpet, matching carpet. That's another thing that IKEA had. They had the themes. And it was just popping. I uploaded it on Airbnb. Instant books. Instant. People were raving about it, right? To the point where I flew out the same artist that I bought the original paintings from. I flew him out to make me some more paintings because these were my money makers, the paintings, the 8-foot paintings that people had. So I added Donkey Kong, Street Fighter paintings. All that stuff was in there. Crucial. I had literally people across the street with a unit on Airbnb getting no bookings. So it had nothing to do with the property itself. It's just what you do with it. I started attracting different artists. 21 Savage booked my spot all the time to the point where he did it off of Airbnb, just giving me cash or cash apping me or Zelling. I mentioned Wale already. Then that was a crucial part when, like I mentioned, newscasters and producers were reaching out to me so they can cover some of my properties for Super Bowl, whatever the case may be. And I literally end up being on the news because of this idea of wanting to do something different and unique. They put me on the news. Imagine how many bookings I got after that. After that, I was charging Super Bowl weekend like $3,000 a night. Somebody booked it. I made $10,000 from one person. Yeah, my mom was texting me, said she saw me on TV. Crazy situation. Anyways, I'm getting more and more units now, right? You guys get the process. All right, so let's get back to more of the practical, actionable ways to start getting these things done. So how to list a property, real simple. Take photos. I took all my photos on my cell phone. I didn't say I need to hire a photographer. Remember, I don't want to lose no momentum. I had bad experiences trying to hire a photographer. They say they're going to give me back my pictures in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a whole year passes. What's going to happen to your morale and your momentum? Somebody called a timeout on you. You don't want that timeouts. Make sure the ball is always in your court and you're continuously scoring. So I took the pictures myself on my phone with no issues. I didn't care about it being all super duper professional. It did what it needed to do. I'm proof of that. I was the top listing with pictures from my phone. Title and manage expectations and descriptions, pricing, all that good stuff. House rules are super important in listing. Amenities, make sure communicate your amenities. Now, super important, how to actually manage the property. Once you secure the property, you list it, all that good stuff. The goal is management. Now that you have everything up, now it's management. This separates the people who care from the people who don't care. All right. So I tell my students all the time to check your P's. Check your product, check the people, check the process. If you don't have any of these 3 things going right for yourself, it's going to fail. You can have the right process, you can have the right product, but if you have the wrong people managing it, it's dead. I'll give you a perfect example. A franchise. Subway, there's a Subway on one street, and 2 blocks away, there's another Subway, but one Subway will close down. They have the same product, right? They have the same exact process. What was the reason why that had to be shut down? 2 reasons, either location and or people. So that's how that works. So those are the type of things that you need to consider. So first, in order to manage properly, you need to understand what type of guests are going to be booking your place. So I had young adults, fast life people booking my spot. So I need to prepare myself for those type of people, right? But there's also people who own production companies that want to shoot videos, that wanted to use it for commercial use. Because out of the arcade thing, there's people that said, I want to throw a party there. right? Use it for conferences, concert guests, people coming in town for concerts. I need to know what type of guests I have, right? And I also attracted a lot of scammers, right? These people steal credit cards and they can book a Airbnb and the charge will go through. Luckily, Airbnb will still pay me, but having somebody in your home that you're managing that they use a stolen credit card, that means they have no care for what they do inside the house. They can break anything they want. It don't matter because it's not going to be on them, right? So I always had a process to identify if I was dealing with a scammer or not, right? You need to understand your check-in and check-out process, the process of how you check in a guest and how a guest checks out. The booking process, guest hospitality. You need to know how to manage the cleaning supplies, how to clean. One of the biggest annoyances in managing these properties is hair. Those small things, follicles, get stuck between places. You don't see it, right? But your guest will give you a call letting you know that there's hair all over the place and you did all your best to clean it, but you didn't see it. So when I started my units at first, I actually did all the cleaning myself. I did the whole process myself from A to Z. So I know the process so I can then train others on how to do it according to my expectations on how I wanted it to be done. So I was slaving like for the first 4 months. I mean, slaving, right? But I wasn't complaining about it. Hard work and maintenance, handiwork. So managing these properties, you need to have somebody on deck at all times to be able to handle any handiwork or maintenance. Whether it's you yourself, an associate, somebody has to be on deck. Because appliances do break, furniture does mess up, certain things that need to be taken care of, right? You have to have policies and procedures in place. How did I become a Superhost? I just had a consistent 5-star rating. I think the criteria is to have 4.9 stars straight for 3 months, I believe. And that's what I ended up doing. So there's certain things that you can do to optimize the Airbnb business. It's having the correct mindset of a business owner, a servant, a problem solver, everything, and also understanding in your mind that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. If you run your business with that mindset, I promise you, you'll be more successful for those who neglect that former statement. A lot of problems come from people not expecting things from happening. The reason why people don't get too mad when it rains is because you understand and expect that it rains. Anger comes from when something that makes you uncomfortable happens unexpectedly. You just blow up because you weren't expecting that to happen. But if you prepare for it, it's completely different, right? Like somebody randomly punching you versus you signing up for a boxing match, right? It's the same punch. Maybe actually the boxing match, the punch is probably even harder. But do you see boxers crying every time they get punched or getting mad? No, they're expecting it. It's part of that process. All right, so embrace it and become immune to it. I have a very high tolerance of stress because of this business. Anything can happen to me in life now, and I won't stress about it because my tolerance is now high because I fought so many battles. And so if somebody can answer this question, what's the best way to be immune to pepper spray? What's the best way to be immune to pepper spray? Somebody can either say it or write it in the chat.
Get sprayed with it.
Right. Real simple. Get sprayed with it. That's actually part of the training for officers or security guards. They need to get sprayed with it. All right. Even with the flu, you have to take a shot that has it to become immune to it. All right. So what you're doing is you're building up your tolerance towards any situation. So instead of complaining and being a complainer, embrace it with joy, gladness, and gratefulness. So you can become immune to it. So you don't become a negative Nancy. All right. So how to scale? I scaled by doing everything that was above correctly and then choosing to get another property. Tools, having a cleaning team checklist, inventory checklist, guest messages template. You don't want to have to answer the same question a million different times. You should have these things saved in the template so you can just copy and paste. There's actually programs that allow you to do that already. Landlord or rental agreement form, which is what I showed you earlier. Frequently asked questions. How do you know if a listing is profitable? One, by doing the best research you can possible, by comparing it to other comparable listings, and then trying it yourself. How to finance? How do I finance $2,000 to $10,000 for a listing? Again, you can finance any Airbnb unit by either getting a small business loan or getting a partner that has the money, or managing it for somebody else. Will this work in my city? The only thing that's stopping somebody from doing Airbnb in a city is if they don't allow it. There's actually some cities that don't allow you to have Airbnb. So you have to do your due diligence on whether or not you're allowed to do Airbnb. Right? What are the startup costs? Again, we talked about that. It depends on the business model and how you want to do it. And you don't have to furnish the whole home at the same time. You can literally furnish just one room and just rent out that one room and use the income and profit from that one room to furnish the what? Second room and the third room and everything else. Keep it simple. How long would it take me to find property? However long you take to look. How to work? All this stuff is meaningless. Any specific questions that somebody wants to ask concerning this? Because with me, I didn't do too much of anything outside of this for me to get started. I don't want to bombard or overwhelm you with information that they don't need to have in the beginning at all. All you need to know is that main focus is that preparation stage and these preliminary steps. So as far as master leasing, are you approaching these people who own these prime hot spot area properties face to face? Yes, I mentioned that. I do meet them face to face. That's what I've done. Yes. Messaging them through Airbnb, letting them know you can improve their sales. That's another option. That's okay. That's a good one. I forgot to mention that. You also can manage other people's Airbnbs who are already on Airbnb, right? You can literally send a message to somebody, an Airbnb host, and say, yo, man, I know you could be making more income. How do I know? Because I talked to this dude named MattyJ, and based on what he's doing with his units, yours needs some work. You can literally do that. You can literally do that exact statement. I took his class. I sat down with him. I saw some examples, and I know that I can be able to apply those same tactics and strategies towards yours. Allow me the opportunity to do so for a small fee of $500 a month, $200 a month, 10%. Right? So choose the different angle that you want to be involved with this business and work your way in, up or down, to be honest. Because when it comes to the gold rush, you can either be the person that's digging for the gold or the one selling the shovels. They're both making income. It's all about what you want to do in that situation. You don't have to do anything how I'm doing it. You don't have to get no theme unit. You don't have to even get a unit. Like I said, you can literally manage somebody else's. All depends on what your goal is. What other questions? Can you incorporate rental cars with this? Yeah, that's what I do. That's literally what I do. So these are there's linear businesses to this. When somebody comes into town for a business trip, vacation, family, concert, they need two things: a place to sleep and a way to get around. Right? So in Atlanta, a lot of things are very separated. So Uber is not a viable option financially for some people. So they rent a car. So I do have, or they just want to ride in style. So I provide luxury cars that you can rent that you're not going to be able to get at Enterprise or Budget, whatever the case may be. So they go hand in hand. So when you go on my Airbnb listing, after you see the pictures of the listing, you actually then see pictures of my cars. So I let people know that I also rent cars too. So a lot of my people who booked my units, they booked my cars as well. I come into issues where state says the property needs to be owner occupied. Yeah, so certain cities and states, they have to be owner occupied. So you need to figure that situation out depending on what city or state you live in. And there's ways to get around it legally. Would you recommend buying a multi-family house? I don't know because I never did it. The question was, would you recommend buying a multi-family house and Airbnb the apartments? There's many people who've done it. I can't give you an answer on that at all because I've never done it. looking forward to seeing why landlords don't just do them. That's a big question I get all the time. Why don't just landlords do it themselves? Remember, they don't want to. Some people just don't want to do this. They don't want to do the management. They just want their monthly check, even if it's less than what you're making. Some people just don't care. But there's some people who don't care in the beginning. Once they find out that you're making $9,000 a month, then they switch it up on you. You have to expect that too. That's part of the game. But there's contracts in place that for at least a year, I can do what I can do. At least for 3 years, 2 years, 12 months, 6 months, whatever is in the contract is what's in the contract. And don't get mad if a situation is not in your favor. It is what it is. I think one of my greatest strengths is literally saying it is what it is, and not in a negative way or basically not in a negative way. I was like, I really accept the reality. The reality is this is the situation. I'm grateful. I move on. I know that's not everybody's talent, but I do encourage everybody to at least practice it. If you're in a position to purchase a condo, would you recommend it? 2 birds on East Stone, then pay the mortgage, and you may, I'm not sure how you worded this, but based on what I think you meant, if you have the opportunity to purchase a condo and Airbnb it, should you? Yeah, if that's what you want to do. If that literally is really, I hate to be so lax about it, but if that's what you want to do it. I really want everybody to realize that's what it is. If I only want to make $100 a month, cool, do it. There's certain steps you have to take to do it. Those are the steps. If you want to make $1 million, there's certain steps that you have to take to be able to meet that goal. Good piggyback strategy. How do you start your car rental business? The car rental business through Turo is basically very similar. This is not the Turo class, but it's literally almost identical. It's just with cars. The Airbnb for cars is called Turo. And I use these same exact steps for cars. I literally figure out why I want to start Turo, rental car service, how I choose my business model, how I scout my cars, how do I finance my cars, how do I secure my cars, how I wouldn't call it stage or furnish your cars, but in this section will be where would I park my cars, how do I list my cars, same process. It's the same overlying process. I'm also curious about the taxes when doing Airbnb. Is it as simple as documenting the extra income? Yeah, it's the same thing, same process. They actually give you a form at the end of the year. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So, if I was to piggyback off of the statements before, arcade. Who plans on getting an Airbnb soon? You can just type in me. I actually have a couple of people. I probably am, after having classes or meetings, one-on-ones with people, I think I've seen at least 9 people actually do it, and their Airbnbs are successful. Actually, I can show you one right here, matter of fact. That's good. That's good. Yeah, please. I like that. I'm going to be doing it after doing a little bit more research. And the research isn't more so how to do Airbnb, but how to do it in your market and according to how your goals are set up. All right, so let me show y'all. Oh, remember that townhouse I was telling you guys about? That was right next to mine? This was it. I actually charged $280 for it. They charge $74 a night. This is it right here. You can see my screen, right? Yeah, good. Where art thou? Where? One of my students. Okay, here. Her name is she's actually an influencer. She's known. Her name is Skittles. She has this unit here with her husband. They're actually doing Airbnb before me, matter of fact. But I helped influence some of the strategies that I was implementing to help their business a little bit better as far as themes. So they focused on targeting a specific niche, women. Some people don't like targeting because they think they're limiting their opportunities for booking, but that's really not the case. You're actually optimizing it because you make things clear for certain people. And there's only 300 listings in all of Atlanta. Think about that. It's not going to be a problem with somebody booking your unit. So they had, like, of course, they got the little chic, little girly stuff in there. If you're a guy, obviously you're not going to want to book here, but it's basically called Instagrammable. Any other questions? Hey, George, you are not lying. It's a race to the bottom on prices. To be honest, these prices were way higher last year for the units. I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of these prices. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a season, but luckily I don't determine my business on what other people are pricing no more. I provided so much of a value that I'm now actually booking my units off of Airbnb. Chris asks, how do I know if my city only allows owner-occupied rental for Airbnb? I'm sure they have resources for it on the website. Probably you can simply Google, does Airbnb allow X city to host rentals, short-term rentals? That's crazy. Remember that same unit? Somebody else has that same unit, but they're charging $175. Mine is like 2 doors down from this one. I know whose unit this is. And this also isn't just a money opportunity, it's also a saving money opportunity. So if some hosts, they literally travel for 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, and their condos just sitting there doing nothing, right? So they actually have their vacation paid for by renting out the unit that they're not sleeping in. Think about that situation. Remember, turn your liabilities into assets. Focus on that. So yeah, all you gotta do is search your city. If you live in Maryland, type in Maryland, New York, Miami, and don't be afraid to ask hosts, like figure out how to contact these hosts and ask them questions. You'll be surprised how much they're willing to share with you. All right, what other questions? Yeah, definitely Los Angeles. Where can I get that leasing agreement and document? I haven't created a way for me to just have it linked. I'm really lazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But to be honest, it's just this section that needs to be added, which you can actually Google. What you'll be Googling is subletting short-term rental addendum. Template, something along those lines. This is the only thing you'll be adding to allow somebody, or the owner is supposed to be doing it for you, to be honest, but if the owner has no experience in doing that, I already provide the contract for him. All right. Yeah, exactly. They got it down. I live in Atlanta. Prices are very high to rent in the perimeter. These people can't be making much. Yeah, I live in Atlanta. All my units are in the perimeter. I showed you how much income I'm making due to how I'm operating the business. But I don't know if I can say that for everybody else. So I want to book my condo. Good. I'm talking to the cheap host. You got the key? Cheap host, what do you mean? Anyways, any other questions? It's kind of early. It's like 8:30. We supposed to go 4 hours deep, but I'm like, let's get to work. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if he was a real G, you'll be on Trulia.com right now, already looking for your spot. Exposed, huh? No, I'm lying. You should be working on your preparation. Should be answering that self-evaluation questionnaire That's what you should be doing if you was a real one. But to be honest, I'm actually doing a disservice teaching information in this way. I'm supposed to be creating a community that allows this information to be enforced through a community. I've been real lazy. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm going to be changing that. I'm going to be putting way more effort and making sure there's an accountability system for putting this stuff into action through a community. All right. The reason why I chose to release this class prematurely is because everybody keeps asking me for it. Like everybody. Crazy. Like 400 people signed up. But because of time, not everybody can be on at the same time. So they're relying on the recording, which it's recording. Okay, good. So I'm going to send that recording out to everybody after. And also, I don't know if you noticed, there's some people that's, never mind. I'm going to keep that to myself. Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to even waste time. If anybody doesn't have any other questions, I think I did my job for these initial phases. As far as extra help while you're going through the process, don't be afraid to Google. I'm not trying to be, I'm actually serious. I got through this process without even paying for a class at all. All I needed, I wish I had this stuff that I shared with you guys today. I wish I had this stuff. I didn't even have none of this. I didn't have this structure. I just went with the flow. So just know that you already have an advantage to me when it comes to the beginning phases of the beginning process. Appreciate you, Daryl and George. Do you offer mentoring and how to get around the owner-occupied situation? I do not know. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have no idea how to get around that. And if it's that difficult, this isn't then Airbnb isn't going to be the option for you. You need to figure out how to apply this information towards something else, which is why I led with identifying your skills. So with that being said, skills, let's really hone in on this. I don't want anybody who can't end up doing, like legally can't even do Airbnb in the city to be discouraged. Please don't do that. I'm going to share with you how to apply this information towards something you can do, actually do. All right, so where's the whiteboard at? Pull out the whiteboard on you. All right, so there's a formula. Clear all drawings. There's a formula. The formula is skill. Oh man, I got a pen in here somewhere. Over here writing. Aha. I got a touch screen. I ain't even using it. All right, so here's the formula. Put it over here. Skill times paycheck. Dang. Can everybody see this still? You can see the whiteboard? Straight? No? Yeah? Oh, who can I see here? I can't see nobody. Nina, can you see it? Alexander. Yep, good. All right, skill times paycheck. No, skill times time. I'm over here messing up my own formula. Undo. All right, so this is how you earn your paycheck. Skill times time, probably seen me teach this before, equals paycheck. All right, so most people, when it comes to them increasing their funds or income or paycheck, what they try to do is they try to increase more hours. They want to work more hours. Right? So they get either, if they don't get more hours or more overtime, they end up getting a second job. Sometimes a third job, fourth job. It's commendable, but it's not the most effective thing to do because 2 jobs are for how many people?
2.
How easy is that? 2 jobs should be for 2 people. We should focus on not increasing hours, but increasing what? Skill. All right. So if I have a skill that the market says is worth $10 an hour, and if I work 10 hours, my paycheck is going to be 100. Real simple formula. But if I work a job where the market says my skill is $100 an hour, I work those same exact 10 hours, I'm making 1,000. Simple, right? So the question is, what type of skills do I already have that is valued higher than what I'm currently already doing? And you'll be surprised. I'll share a quick story on somebody, how easy this is. So remember, I told you, turn your pain into profit. So there's a mom, real story, true story. A mom, she lost her job. She has 4 kids, right? And the first thing the mom thinks of when she loses her job is who? 4 kids, right? So among feeding, taking care, paying for things, right? A simple thing like, oh, my kids need haircuts. You have 4 male sons in middle school, elementary, whatever case may be. Haircuts, like $10, $20 each head. Right, $80, $40 to $80 per month just on haircuts. So it's either you do the haircut once a month or twice a month or not at all. If you do it not at all, that lack of haircut is going to affect their education, right? Some way, some form. The friends are going to make fun of them, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a domino effect of certain consequences. So what the mom did is she went to a website called Skillshare.com. She said in that search box, how to cut hair. People have a misconception that you have to go to beauty school to learn how to cut hair, or you got to know how to actually cut hair. There's actually tools that make it real simple. There's guards that make it real simple to make a haircut presentable. All right? So she took this class, but the name of this course was How to Cut Your Children's Hair. So it was very niche and specific. I have children. I need to cut my children's hair. Let me pay $10, $10.99 for this course, whatever it would cost for this course, so I can learn how to cut my own children's hair. And now I just saved $80, $160 per month. Made an extra, that's how you gotta look at it. She made an extra $160 per month. All right. So, and all the other benefits, now they look good, they're more confident, they're getting better grades, those different domino effects. Long story short, over time, all her misconceptions about how difficult it was to cut hair went out the window by looking at a step-by-step guide that somebody had the nobility to say, there's a lot of moms out there. I know they need this. I'm going to create a structured course for it and put it out there. Somebody volunteered, somebody took up the offer, and now she has that skill as well. Right? But here's how the beautiful thing about the situation. She now has practice with 4 heads. Not just one, 4 heads. Now she's getting better and better to the point she's become an expert. She can cut hair now. Now that she's an expert, what can she now do as far as adding income to her life? She can now do the same thing that she invested to. She can now charge people to teach. See how that circle works? She paid to learn something, put it into practice, became really good at it, and now she's charging other people to do the same exact thing. Does she have to be worried about getting laid off anymore? No, because now she's making residual passive income from a course that she created, teaching other mothers or any niche. She didn't say, I want to become a hairstylist. I want to become the best barber in the world. I just want to cut my children's hair. That's it. So what can you do that's very skillful that solves a problem for somebody? Do you know how to organize the closet well? You know people get paid for that? Do you have specific techniques on how to wake up and get more productive in the morning? You know people pay for that? Do you have certain skills on how to organize your car or tools? How to shop on Amazon? How to create lists? You know people pay for that? Let's just go to it. Remember, don't be discouraged if you're not able to do Airbnb. This is not an Airbnb class, believe it or not. Even though it's titled that, has nothing to do with Airbnb. Believe that. Share. Let me share my screen. Let's go to Skillshare.com so you can see what I'm talking about. Where am I? Is it showing this screen? No, nothing? This is something? Nothing?
I'm not watching.
All right. New share. Oh, I know what I did. There you go. Now you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I see it.
I'm getting yes and no's. But D, what's going on? I guess it's a solo problem, my sisters. I'm sorry. So we're going to go ahead and go to Skillshare. Let me go ahead and close all these tabs. Except they're not needed. We're done over there. There's two websites, actually. There's multiple, actually, but there's two major marketplaces for learning information for very affordable prices. Many people are familiar with. There's Udemy and Skillshare. So let's go to Skillshare. Skillshare.com. I'm going to show you how you can teach anything, but you can't teach it unless you first do.
Yeah.
But in order to do, you have to be inspired by somebody who's already doing it, so you can learn from them. So many categories: design, business, technology, film, writing, entrepreneurship. I can literally upload this session that we had for the last 2 hours onto this website and charge $5 for it and have passive income. All right. Matter of fact, let's type. Yeah, let's do this. Let's search. What we gonna search? Classes. Music, fine art, explore classes. Oh, I gotta be signed in. My family just use a dummy. Remember, that formula was skill times time equals paycheck. We don't want to increase time, no matter work hours. We want to increase skill. So we need to identify a skill that we either already have or one that we can learn. So type in haircut. Are there classes for haircuts? Yes. Haircuts at where? Home. Fundamentals of women's haircuts. 32-minute lecture. This person sold it for $9.99, and let's see how many people purchased it. 675 people purchased it when it was at $29.99. Do the math. For something that you recorded one time and uploaded. Of course, you still have to provide support and all that good stuff, but compare that to how much time we spent doing other things. Right? And most importantly, it's not about the income, it's what lives are you impacting from it and what other opportunities are going to come from it. All right? I'm sure there's a course on how to ride a bike. There's a course on anything.
Yeah, this is crazy.
How to code, how to build muscle. Why would you choose to be on Netflix when you could be on this? Why? Right? It's because a lot of people don't know about this. So it's now your job, since you know, to let others know. But in order for you to let others know without being a hypocrite, you have to put in action, because they're going to ask you, well, do you have something on here? Do you teach? What do you do? And you don't got no answer, they're not going to want to do it. So we have that obligation. All right. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question as far as what happens if you can't set up an Airbnb because it's red taped in your specific city location. And also, you don't even have to be in that city to run an Airbnb. I can be in Africa and set up an Airbnb in Atlanta. I never had to be in Atlanta to set this stuff up. I just need to make use of resources of people who are in Atlanta. Right? There's people that you can pay that will be able to set it up for you. Right? I'm not going to be able to do it, but there's people who are. All right. So yeah, we're going to be closing this down. It's getting late, man. I don't know what I was talking about. Talk about 4 hours. That's madness. And I'm surprised nobody ain't checked me for that. All right. Hopefully I think I covered everything as far as what needs to be done. Again, this business in a box, I think it's still being shown. The business in a box, it's the website, it's homework.ceomattyj.com. That's the website. This gives you access to literally everything I know in business is here. everything I know. I dumped it in here. Does that mean to start going all over the place and reading everything? I don't recommend it because your brain will blow up. Just focus on the section that you're in. In second grade, I actually talk about Skillshare and developing a skill that you can get paid for. I talk about that in second grade. But if you're not in second grade, don't ask the questions. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. All right. So with that being said, I want to give all thanks and praise to God Elohim. If there are any lastly closing questions, I'm going to end it with last closing questions for the next 5 minutes. And then I'm going to be waiting very patiently for a DM email saying, Matthew, I got my Airbnb up and this is my first booking. What's up? What's happening? I told you. And then that's when I screenshot your message. I post it on my Instagram and say, I told y'all that was going to. That's my goal. All right. I need case studies. I don't want to hear, oh man, of course you did it because you Matthew, man. Of course you did it. No, I need to prove that any and everybody can do it. All right. All right. So last two questions, 5 minutes. How long will this replay be up for? I think the link that I'm going to get from Zoom is going to be a download link. I'm going to email that out and everybody has a chance to download it. How long that download is going to be? I know it's going to be more than a week, 2 weeks, a month. But after that, I have no idea. The goal is just to download it as soon as you get it, though. Do you get paid after they book or after they stay? You get paid on Airbnb. Remember, Cashflow, you get paid a day after they book. So if they stay there for 3 days, you still get it paid the day after. I mean, the day after they check in. The day after they check in. I'm sorry. So if they're there for 1 day, you get paid at the day that they check out. If they're there for 2 days, you get it while they're still in the unit. What's up with the mastermind? Yeah, that's gonna come soon. I just need to figure out how to carve time. I'm garbage. One of my greatest weaknesses is focusing on one thing. I'm garbage. I got so much things going on, but I'm working on it. Yeah. Everybody who wants to network, go ahead and post your Instagram so you can follow each other if need be. How to manage setup cleaning of units. How to manage. Yeah, that stuff you can Google. There's checklists. I'm not gonna go into those details. There's a checklist all over the internet. How to set up cleaning checklist for Airbnb. You can download it and follow the list. Can we exchange info with each other? Yeah, definitely. If y'all live in the same city, I'm all about networking. Can I please see the homework link again? I'm gonna put it inside the chat. So it's homework.co MattyJ.com. My brother Francois. I don't create my own terms of agreement. They provide Airbnb, believe it or not, provides mostly everything that you need. They want the onboarding process to be real simple. Real simple. Somebody said my aunt runs her Airbnb in Stockbridge from Nigeria. See? Y'all thought I was playing. One-on-one mentorship, I do, but I don't know how much I want to charge. I don't want to be bleeding people. How about this? This is off the top of my head right now. I'll do a name your own price mentorship. Meaning it's going to be something that you can afford. I hate charging people for things. I literally hate it. It makes me uncomfortable. But I'm actually reading a book that tells me that I have to charge. But now the question is how much, right? So I'm going to leave that up to whoever wants one-on-one mentorship. Just tell me something that you're comfortable with, and we'll negotiate it. Not true negotiation. I'm really, because I'm not doing it for money, so I don't need nobody's money. I just want to make sure that my time is. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't gotta explain that. Yeah, so just DM me. Just DM me for that information. I'm going to be posting up. My next story I'm going to post on my Instagram is going to be about the Turo. I got some crazy stories about Turo. Boy, I actually got some crazy stories about Airbnb, but I didn't have the pictures. I had people, I had somebody do drugs on my unit, like leave a hole, the needles, the little wrap things that you be. I thought I used to see that in movies. I saw it in the unit. Yeah, I seen blood, like crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. People be leaving money. People be leaving guns. I probably found guns in my unit like 3 different times. 3 different times. Yeah. She said, I learned so much. I'm applying now. Yeah, just DM me. Anybody who wants the one-on-one mentorship, DM me and we'll figure that out. How to start off with no money? You're gonna have to play that replay back, my boy. We talked about that earlier. Anyway, shout out to my brother Francis and Ramon, both of my brothers in Zion. Also, I host Bible studies. If anybody in Atlanta, I'm sorry, I haven't scaled it outside of Atlanta yet. Anybody in Atlanta wants to join me in Bible studies, I host them every day in Atlanta, Georgia, in greater Atlanta, Georgia as well. If you want to have a Bible study with me, just let me know. I'll explain why all your business, how it ties to our spiritual life. All right, so with that being said, I'm out. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Please put in action and please send me your results. All I care about is results. And I don't want anybody really asking questions that they can Google. Right? I'm here to help, but there's certain things that you can Google. Right? And I'll rather you learn those small things that way because it's literally that is more effective that way than me trying to answer you via DM message. All right, so yeah, talk to you guys later. I'm gonna send the replay to by tomorrow because as soon as I exit this, it's gonna download. It's gonna take a while to download. I'm gonna be asleep by then. It's gonna take an hour. All right. All right, so let me go ahead and just add it into the chat right now. I appreciate y'all, like for real. I really, really appreciate you guys. All right, stop share. Guess what's gonna happen in 2 seconds?